Very good morning, all. Guys, can everyone hear my voice? Please let me know. Am I audible? Yeah, I think it's good, right? Okay, let's start this session. In the last class, we had been discussed about basics of the complex variables and the complex theorems. And we saw what do you mean by complex variables and how to define them, properties of the complex variables, right? And apart from that, we saw few more things, right? What we saw how to use complex integral, right? So complex integral நம்ம values வந்து எப்படி சிம்பிளா calculate பண்றது அப்படிங்கறத பார்த்தோம், right? Yes. Now with that, just we are continuing that from the complex integral. I'm just continuing, right? Still few more things are there to learn. After that, complex theorem it's over. Then we will solve some plenty of problems such that you will get very clear idea, right? That's all. Okay, let's start. Now what we are going to do in the last session, when I was completing the complex variable, I think I was talking about complex integral, right? So in that integral we saw if your function is going to be an not analytic function, if it is not going to be analytic function, then we should remove, right, some poles from the system, right? நம்ம என்ன பார்த்தோம், what we have done in the complex integral. Actually we saw two type of integral, right? That is Cauchy integral theorem பார்த்திருப்போம் and then Cauchy integral formula. Now Cauchy integral theorem in the sense, in a closed region, if there is no poles, right, in the region of convergence, right, when in the region of convergence, if there is no poles, right, zone kulla poles varala appadina, what is the integral value? That will be equal to 0 because my function is analytic and there are no significant poles that are lying inside the region of convergence, so we can happily move with that, right? But second, what we saw, suppose if I will find any poles inside the system, right, if there is any poles inside the system, it means what we know, in region of convergence poles are strictly not allowed, right? Exactly. Suppose if poles are there, then we have to remove. That is what we have done in Cauchy integral formula. Now there is one more thing that is called Cauchy residue theorem, right? Now I am going to teach you that one, right? Now what do you mean by Cauchy residue theorem? Cauchy residue theorem in the sense, we have to keep our attention with the poles, right? Actually it is same as our Cauchy integral formula, but in Cauchy integral theorem we are supposed to calculate only coefficient value, that is without the 2 pi I. If you remember, I don't know whether you remember or not, in our last class when I was talking about the integral formula, I told you in the resultant, right, when I was calculating the value of f of a, that answer was always being multiplied by a factor of 2 pi I, right? Now in Cauchy residue theorem we are not going to keep our attention with the 2 pi I, we are going to keep our attention with the coefficient of the 2 pi I. Who is the coefficient of 2 pi I? F of a is the coefficient of 2 pi I, right? Now residue in the sense, right, residue in the sense, in a closed contour or in a closed region, whenever we are looking for a closed circle, for an example, if I will consider a closed region, in that closed region if there is no poles, then we can say in the closed integral we can simply say that function f of z with respect to dz is going to be simply 0, since in the denominator I don't have any poles, right? Suppose if there is any poles, right, if I will find any poles inside the region, then what we need to do, you have to remove, right, you have to remove that pole from the system, such that what will happen, your system is going to be, that is we should see the effect of the singularity, right? If there is any poles, that is called what? Singularity. But there will be a small difference between singularity and poles. Let me define, right? Let us see the differentiations at all. Okay, first sorry, difference at all. Before that, I would like to conclude what we saw. Okay, this is the first case we saw. Second case, suppose if I will find any poles inside the contour, right, in that closed integral, then what shall we do? We have to remove that pole from the system. That is what I had been defined, f of z upon z minus z naught into dz should be equal to, right, it is simply, it can be written as 2 pi I into the factor of f of a. That is the formula that we saw in order to remove the pole, and we saw the procedure to remove the pole also, right? Now the thing is, here instead of considering only a single singularity, suppose if I have n number of poles, right, with the order, right, I'm not having a single pole, I'm not having a simple pole, there are many poles lies inside the selected contour, inside the selected region of convergence, right? Poles are strictly not allowed inside the region of convergence. If I will find many number of poles, then you people are requested to find out the residues of these poles. Residues in the sense we have to see the significant effect of this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and then we have to add all these people. That is going to be the residue of your function, right? So now what is the conclusion? Residue in the sense we should find out the, we have to find out the, right, we have to find out the effect of the poles with the order, right? What do you mean by order? It means at sometimes in your selected region you may have only a simple pole. At sometimes in your selected point you may have more than one repeated poles. What do you mean by repeated poles? Twins. Repeated poles like twins. Yes or no? Yes. இப்போ ரெண்டு பேர் ஒரே மாதிரி இருந்தா they are called identical to each other. That is called repeated poles. இப்போ மூணு பேர் ஒரே மாதிரி இருந்தா 3 identical people are there. 4 நம்ம யூனிவர்ஸ்ல 7 people இருக்காங்கன்னா நம்ம சொல்லுவோம் இல்லையா, லைக் தட் இஃப் ஐ வில் கன்சிடர் மோர் நம்பர் ஆஃப் போல்ஸ், ரைட், ஐடென்டிக்கல் டு ஈச் அதர் அப்படின்னா கிரிட்டிக்கலி டேம்ப்டு சிஸ்டம், லைக் அப்படி டிஃபைன் பண்ணுவோம் இல்லையா, ரைட், when we are going up with a same value of pole and is being repeated again and again, again and again, right? So that is called what? Order of pole, right? Order of pole in the sense we should see simple pole in the sense only one person will going to stand at this point. One or a specific kind of point வந்து நம்ம choose பண்றோம். For an example, I am standing at z equal to 2. இந்த பாயிண்ட்ல ஒரே ஒரு போல் மட்டும் இருந்ததுன்னா that is called simple pole, that is called simple pole with the order of 1, whereas order of the pole is 1 because we are considering only one pole. Now whereas at the selected same point if I will consider more than one pole, then that is called poles, right, with the order 2. They are called poles with the order 2. Suppose at the same point if I will consider 3 poles, right, 2 2 2, then what will happen? That is called poles, right, with the order of 3, with the order of 3. Now we should see the effect of these significant poles, right, inside of our region of convergence. That is called Cauchy residue theorem, right? So the third person that we are going to discuss now is called Cauchy residue theorem. Yeah. Okay, fine, let me rub these things. Let's see, right? So let us take some examples, right? Before that let me denote, right, let me write the formula and then we will see. Apart from that there are few more things to discuss. We will see one by one, right? Let's start. First, what do you mean by, suppose in a selected region of convergence, right? Let us selected, I am selecting a particular contour, a region, right? In that region let us have only one pole, that is simple pole with the order of 1. If you have simple pole with the order of 1, then its correspondent coefficient at this selected point f of a, right, that is a coefficient of 2 pi I said, right? So f of a can be calculated as limit, right, your selected point value, let us consider a, right, your selected point pole value is a such that your z is approaching a, right, z is approaching a, just we can write like this, and we are going to consider a function, right? We are going to consider only one pole, na, just we have to remove that pole from the whole function f of z into, we should consider z minus z naught, that's all. That is how we are estimating the value of what I can say, that is how we are removing the pole or how we are calculating the value of the coefficient of 2 pi I when we have a single pole. Suppose if I have two poles, repeated poles, then what I have to do? F of a is equal to, once again, limit z is going to approaching same as it is a, but now it is become what we should consider, right? Please wait a minute. F of z, but now we are going to consider z minus z naught with the pole, that is order of pole as 2, but now there will be some changes in the formula, right? That changes are, we are going to consider d by dz also will going to be fall in place, right? Let me write like this, f of z into d by dz. Suppose if I will consider, that is pole with the order of 2. Now the consider next pole with the order of m. Let us consider pole with the order of m, right? Pole with the order of m, that is m poles are there. Suppose in our system if m poles are there, then how do I find out the residue of that function at a selected point? That is going to be limit, right? Let me define limit. It is going to be, once again, z is going to be approach a only, whereas your function can be defined as 1 upon m minus 1 times of factorial into d power m minus 1 upon dz power m minus 1 into f of z into z minus z naught whole power m. Clear? So that is the formula to obtain the residue of pole with the order of m. I hope things are very clear to you. Just to do remember, that is enough, right? Now let us see, right? So let me rub these things. just to make very clear notes, that's enough. Just remember the formula, that's enough, right? Just we are trying to, actually what we are doing here, instead of doing complex integral, we are trying to estimate those complex integral values in the alternative way, right? So we are not doing integration, right? For that we are using some other alternative formula, such that we will be able to calculate the value of complex integral in the easiest way. That's the purpose of Cauchy integral theorem, right? Yes. So let me keep this general formula for your understanding, okay? Now, for an example, if I have a pole, a system is given like this, right? A system f of z, right, had been defined like this, right? F of z equal to z square minus 1, right? Upon, they said that is going to be z plus 2, right? Whereas, that is, this function said to be defined at z equal to, right? They will choose some certain point, right? Now here, if you find avanga endha point la choose pandrangala, see that anyway here z plus 2 is going to be the pole, right? So they will tell you z minus 2 is the pole, right? Or simply you know that things, right? It is not defined like this. F of z is given and you are requested to find out the residue of the function, that's all. Find the residue of the function, it's over, right? Residue in the sense here we have to select what? Z plus 2 is our pole. First identify the pole. Pole na ennanga? Pole abdina, it is the point in which the overall function will going to be terminated into infinity. That is called divergence. Do you all agree with me? இப்போ இது pole தானே, z plus 2 அப்படிங்கிறது pole. For an example, இங்க z plus 2 இருக்கு இல்லையா, இந்த இடத்துல if I am replacing z equal to minus 2, z க்கு பதிலா நீங்க minus 2 substitute பண்ணீங்க அப்படின்னா minus 2 plus 2 will become 0. 1 by 0 will become infinity. That is called divergence. So pole, it means, poles means it is a point in which your overall function will be terminated into infinity. That value is not acceptable. That is called a simple pole, right? Simple pole with the order of 1. Clear? Now residue of that simple pole is going to be values z plus 2 in the sense that value is z equal to minus 2, right? And its value is going to be what I had been told you, if you have single pole, right? Single pole in the sense order is going to be 1, such that what is the formula? Let me substitute, right? Let us write this is general formula. Let's go ahead, right? Limit z is going to be approach what? Minus 2, right? A value is minus 2, a value is minus 2 and 1 upon m minus 1 factorial, that is m minus 1. Since what is m value? M is nothing but order of pole. Order of pole is 1, so 1 minus 1 is 0. What is value of 0 factorial? 0 factorial equal to 1, right? 0 factorial equal to 1, such that 0 factorial is going to be 1. Here, if I will come back here, d power 1 minus 1 will become d power 0. D power 0 value will be 1, such that there is no order, right? This differentiation does not present. Why? Because m minus, that is m is going to be 1. So 1 minus 1 is going to be 0. Anything power 0 equal to 1 except infinity. So there is no differentiation part. You will have only f of z. Exactly, you'll have only f of z, that is my total function, with z minus z naught is going to be your selected pole, right? So that is z plus 2. See, don't think that I am putting minus here, that I am putting plus here, not like that. I mean, there is some pole, right? It denotes pole. It might be plus or minus, it does not matter, right? Since I have a pole here, that pole value is z plus 2, right? Whereas order is 1, right? Whichever the value that is given, you can simply consider, right? Now, let's proceed further. Very simple, right? Nothing is there to understand. Now, f of z can be replaced by z square minus 1 upon z plus 2, right, into z plus 2 into z plus 2, such that these two people are getting cancelled. Now, if I will replace z by minus 2 whole square will become plus 4. Plus 4 minus 1 will become 3, such that residue of the function is going to be 3. That's all. That is how we are finding the residue of the function. Clear? I hope things are clear to you all. Let us take some other example, right? Let me rub this one. Yeah, let us remove all these things, right? Yeah. Now next what we are going to do, think is, for an example, let us take some other example, right? F of z is it had been defined as, like, what shall we consider? Z square minus 1. Let me consider like this. And let us consider z square plus 2, right? Whereas in the denominator, let us consider z minus 2, right? And then z plus 1, right? And then z minus 1, right? Something they had given like this. Now, okay, question is, find the residue of the function, right? Residue of the function, guys, you have to listen, right? One thing you all have to understand, இந்த மாதிரி காமனாக கேட்டிருக்காங்க அப்படின்னா you don't know at which pole they are asking, எந்த பாயிண்ட்ல கேட்குறாங்க அப்படிங்கிறத அவங்க கொடுக்கல, ரைட்? For an example here, if you notice the denominator, right, in the denominator we have 3 people, z minus 2 will be there, z plus 1 will be there, z minus that is z plus 1 will be there. But before proceeding further, first identify the proper poles, that is the proper simple poles or order of the pole 2 3 something, right? Anyway, here we are having simple poles only. Do you have repeated poles? No, I have 3 poles, but they are simple, order is 1. Repeated pole in the sense 2 poles has to be placed at the same point, right? So such type of poles are not available here, right? Fine, let's continue our journey. If you notice the numerator carefully, we have a term is called z square minus 1. We all know z square minus 1 can be written as, that is 1 பதிக்கலாம் 1க்கு பதிலா 1 ஸ்கொயர் கன்சிடர் பண்ணிக்கலாம் இல்லையா? So it can be written as z square minus 1 square. So it can be rewritten as a plus b into a minus b. Any mistake? No, such that is going to be a square minus b square, right? So it can be rewritten as z plus 1 into z minus 1, right? If you observe the function carefully, z plus 1 into z minus 1, right, into z square plus 2, right, in the denominator, right, sorry, this is going to be minus 1. In the denominator we have z minus 2 into z plus 1 into z minus 1, such that these people are going to be cancelled each other, right? And next what we need to do, right, let us, if we reduce the function, how many poles are there now? If you observe the denominator, we have only 1 pole. So always while solving the problem, should try to take care of your question, right? Is there any cancel, is there any poles are getting cancelled? If your poles, effect of the poles is getting cancelled by zeros na meaning enanga? Zeros na numerator of the system, or we can say 0 அப்படிங்கிறது it is a point in which the overall function value will become 0. We know that one, right? Fine. So let's continue our journey with this. So z square plus 2 upon z minus 2, right? This is the given function. Now residue of the function is what? That is the question, right? Now residue in the sense, since we have only 1 pole, right, and that pole is being placed at z equal to 2. Z minus 2 in the sense z equal to 2 only, na? Now what will be the residue? Residue is f of 2 should be equal to limit z is approaching 2, and I have the simple pole only, na? So we have to consider f of z into correspondent pole value is z minus 2, right? அப்ப என்ன வரீங்க, இதை இங்க substitute பண்ணீங்க அப்படினா you are going to get what? Only z square plus 2 தான் வரும், because z minus 2 getting cancelled out, and in z square plus 2 z will be replaced by 2 because z is approaching 2. So 2 square will become 4, 4 plus 2 will become 6. That's all. That is how we are finding the residue of the function, right? I hope things are clear to you all, right? Now we need to discuss about few more things. Let us see. Yeah. Just understand, that's enough, right? Don't think too much. I said actually just நம்ம என்ன பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கோம் அப்படின்னா பெருசா ஒன்றும் இல்லை, இந்த ரியல் டொமைன் இருக்குன்னு வச்சுக்கோங்களேன். ரியல் டொமைனா இப்போ நம்ம சிக்னல்ஸ் சிஸ்டம்லாம் பார்த்துருப்போம், நிறைய சிக்னல்ஸ் எடுத்துக்கிட்டு நிறைய ஏரியா கால்குலேட் பண்ணுறதுக்குலாம் நிறைய ஃபார்முலாலாம் போட்டிருப்போம். இன்டெகிரேஷன் போட்டு ஒரு பீரியாடிக் சிக்னல்னால் அதுக்கு எப்படி ஏரியா கால்குலேட் பண்ணுறது, ஒரு ஏபீரியாடிக் சிக்னல்னால் அதுக்கு நம்ம எப்படி ஏரியா கால்குலேட் பண்ணுறது. வி நோ தி ஃபார்முலாஸ். ஒரு ஸ்கொயர் வந்தால் அதுக்கு ஏரியா எப்படி கால்குலேட் பண்ணுறது, ஒரு ட்ரையாங்குலருக்கு ஏரியா எப்படி கால்குலேட் பண்ணுறது, ஆவரேஜ் பை டைம் பீரியட். யூஸ்வலி வி ஆர் யூசிங் தட் ஃபார்முலா இன் ஆர்டர் டு அப்டைன் தி ஏரியா ஆஃப் எனி டைப் ஆஃப் சிக்னல்ஸ், ரைட்? பட் அப்படி நம்ம ட்ராவல் பண்ணும்போது இஃப் ஐ வில் ஃபைண்ட் எனி காம்ப்ளெக்ஸ் சிக்னல்ஸ், complex signals அப்படினா a signal in which we can carry both AC and what I can sorry real part and imaginary part, ரெண்டு இன்ஃபர்மேஷனுமே ஒண்ணா மிக்ஸ் ஆயிட்டு வரும்போது என்ன ஆகும் அப்படினா we should see. அப்ப அந்த மாதிரி காம்ப்ளிகேட்டடான ஒரு சிக்னல் வந்து கிடைக்கும்போது of course that is not complicated one, right? But we people had feared, right? அதை பார்த்த உடனே சார் ரியல் பார்ட் மட்டும் இருந்தால் ஓகே நம்ம ஈஸியாக இன்டெகிரேட் பண்ணிடலாம், அந்த இமேஜினரி பார்ட்டெல்லாம் சேர்ந்து வரும்போது there might be some fear அந்த மாதிரிலாம் வருது அப்படின்ட்டு அப்படியே என்ன பண்ணிட்டாருன்னா காசு இன்டெகிரல் வந்து அவர் காசு என்ன பண்ணிட்டாருன்னா ஓகே ஃபைன் அந்த ஃபியரை நான் ரிமூவ் பண்ணுறேன்னு சொல்லிட்டா he took some revolution, right? He spent some time and he had developed some methods, right? That methods are simply whichever things that we have gone through till now. What we saw Cauchy integral formula, Cauchy integral theorem, Cauchy residue theorem, right? So these things at all, the main motto is if I will find any complex integral we can simply get the answer. You know, did I did any integration here? Did I do any integration? Did you notice to me? Right? No, we have not do any integrations, right? Yeah, our formula had been formatted in terms of integration only, but I have gone through, right? We have been crossed all those things in the alternative way. We took LHS, RHS. In the LHS side, we have integral. Instead of going up with the integral, we found one more way, 2 pi I into FA, right? So like a partial fraction method, right? So in that way, we have found that things and just we have been approached, right? That's all. That's really pretty good, right? So that is what we have done. அப்போ நம்ம இதுலையும் பண்ணது எல்லாமே எதுக்காக அப்படின்னா ஒரு காம்ப்ளெக்ஸ் சிஸ்டமில் complex system அப்படிங்கிறது that's not complex actually. I mean for us that is not complicated one, that is easiest ways நம்ம இது வரைக்கும் பார்த்தது. That's all. There are no big things to learn about these things, right? Which are the things that we have gone through. Apart from that, there are few more things as I said, right? இதுக்கப்புறம் இது இல்லாமல் ஒரு சில விஷயங்கள்லாம் கற்றுக்கணும் அப்படின்னு சொல்லியிருந்தோம் இல்லையா? Let me define them. ஒரு ரீஜன் எடுத்துக்கிட்டு நம்ம என்ன பண்ணுறோன்னா ஒரு பர்டிகுலர் ஏரியா செலக்ட் பண்ணிவிட்டு let me define some names வந்து நான் கொடுக்குறேன். ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஒன்று பார்த்தீங்கன்னா isolated singularity. First of all, what do you mean by singularity? Singularity அப்படிங்கிறது it is the point in which the overall function should become what? Not analytic, right? It is not become analytic, right? Why it is not become analytic? Why it is not become analytic? Why? Because நீங்கள் செலக்ட் பண்ண பாயிண்ட், ரைட்? சிங்குலாரிட்டி அப்படிங்கிறது ஒரு பாயிண்ட். அந்த பாயிண்ட்டில் ஓவரால் ஃபங்க்ஷனோட வேல்யூ வந்து என்ன அப்படின்னா இன்ஃபினிட்டிக்கு போயிடும். இட்ஸ் லைக் அ போல் ஒன்லி, ரைட்? போல் அப்படிங்கிறது நம்ம ஆர்டர் வச்சு டிஃபைன் பண்ணுறோம், ரிப்பீட்டட் போல்ஸ் அந்த மாதிரி வச்சு நம்ம இங்கே டிஃபைன் பண்ணிருக்கோம். ஸோ அரே டோன்ட் கம்பேர் திஸ் திங்ஸ் வித் கண்ட்ரோல் சிஸ்டம்ஸ் அட் ஆல், ஜஸ்ட் சிம்பிளி ரிமெம்பர், ரைட்? ஸோ ஹியர் பிகாஸ் இன் காம்ப்ளெக்ஸ் theorem we learn something different, right? இங்கே போல்ஸ் அப்படிங்கிறது இன் டர்ம்ஸ் ஆஃப் ஆர்டரில் நம்ம ரிப்பீட்டட் போல்ஸ், தட் இஸ் போல் வித் ஆர்டர் ஆஃப் 2 அப்படின்னா 2 poles will be placed at the single point. Don't consider denominator 2 poles இருக்கு சார், overall order will become 2. Not like that. Here we are going up with the repeated orders. Repeated in the sense same person is being again and again repeated. Clear? Yes, fine. அதே மாதிரி singularity அப்படிங்கிறது denominator of the system, right? Any values like z plus 2, z minus 2, z square plus 2, z square minus 4, like that, blah blah. All people, whoever lying inside, that is a denominator of the transfer function, they are being seen treated as a singularity. But singularity அப்படிங்கிறதோட definition, it's almost equal to pole only. It is the point in which what? The overall transfer function will be terminated into infinity. இன்ஃபினிட்டிக்கு போகிற ஒரு சிஸ்டமை நம்மளால் என்ன பண்ண முடியாது? தட் இஸ் கால்ட் டைவர்ஜென்ஸ், ரைட்? இட் இஸ் டீவியேஷன், ரைட்? இட் இஸ் deviating from the class, okay? So that is what singularity. Now the question is, what do we mean by isolated singularity? I'm just asking. The question is isolated singularity. Name itself we have the answer. Isolated அப்படின்னா மீனிங் என்ன? தனியாக இருக்க ஒரு பர்சன். Yes or no? Yes. Isolated system na enna? Isolated alternator na meaning enanga? Isolated alternator அப்படினா, see what we saw when I was talking about when I was discussing about the isolated system, isolated alternator in power system also. Isolation na what do you mean? Alternator had been directly connected with the load. Anyway, usually your alternator is connected with what? Grid only. But at some places, right, some alternators are directly being connected with that system is called isolated system. It is not connected with the infinite grid, directly it is connected with the load. ரைட்? தட் இஸ் கால்ட் ஐசோலேட்டட் சிஸ்டம். அந்த மாதிரி இப்போ ஐசோலேட்டட் போல்னா மீனிங் என்னன்னா, ஒரு ரீஜன் நீங்கள் எடுத்துக்கிட்டிங்கன்னா அந்த ரீஜனில் நெய்பரில் அதுக்கு பக்கத்தில் யாருமே இருக்க மாட்டாங்க, அது மட்டும் தனியாக நின்றுருக்கும். அதுக்கு பேர் தான் ஐசோலேட்டட், ரைட்? ஐசோலேட், அந்த பர்சன் வந்து ஐசோலேட் பண்ணிட்டீங்க, அங்கே வேறு யாருமே கிடையாது, அவருக்கு பக்கத்தில் யாருமே கிடையாது, ஹீ இஸ் அலோன் ஸ்டாண்டிங், தனியாக இருக்கிறாரு. லைக் ஒரு COVID-19 அஃபெக்ட் ஆன பர்சன் மாதிரி, தட்ஸ் ஆல், ரைட்? Like we have to maintain social distancing, right? For that, like that is called isolated singularity. Let us discuss about second person. That is called removable singularity. What do you mean by removable singularity? Just you should try to understand. Let me demonstrate, right? Okay. And then removable singularity அப்படினா meaning என்ன? First of all, singularity அப்படிங்கிறது அந்த பாயிண்ட் வந்து எங்கே வரும் அப்படின்னா denominator of the transfer function. Do you all agree with me? ஆமாம் தானே? சிங்குலாரிட்டி அப்படிங்கிறது டினாமினேட்டரில் தான் வரும். ஒரு ட்ரான்ஸ்ஃபர் ஃபங்க்ஷனோட டினாமினேட்டரில் z+2 z-2 அந்த மாதிரி வரும். ஏன்னா அந்த இடத்துல தான் இப்போ ஃபார் அன் எக்ஸாம்பிள் z+2 இருக்க ஒரு ஃபங்க்ஷனில் போயிட்டு z-க்கு பதிலாக நீங்கள் -2 போட்டிங்கன்னா 1/ல டினாமினேட்டரில் இருக்க அந்த ஃபங்க்ஷன் ஆக்சுவலி இட்ஸ் லைஸ் இன் தி டினாமினேட்டர். ஃபார் அன் எக்ஸாம்பிள் I have a value like this 1/z+2. இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு வேல்யூ இருக்குன்னா if I will replace z by -2, what happened? 1 by -2 plus 2 will become what? 1. It will become 0. Denominator will become 0. Overall value is going to be infinity. It's over. Overall value is going to be infinity. Such that what we have understood here, the thing that we have understood is my function, right? So that is called what? Singularity, right? Now what is the difference between that first person isolated singularity and removable singularity? Removable singularity அப்படின்னா மீனிங் என்னன்னா, ஒரு சீரியஸ், ஒரு பவர் சீரியஸ் நீங்கள் எடுத்துக்கிறீங்க அப்படின்னா, ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் let us consider some Lorentz series, right? ஒரு Lorentz series எடுத்துக்கிட்டா you can also consider ஒரு Taylor series, Maclaurin series. We have seen all those things, we have to see all those things in vector calculus, right? Soon we will take that one, right? So இப்போ அதில் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா we have series, various series, right? Various series அப்படின்னா what do you mean by series? First of all, a coefficient, it is being expanded. ஒரு series அப்படின்னா இப்போ ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் e power x இருக்கு, e power x நம்ம எல்லாரும் expand பண்ணுவோம், right? We know how to expand this one, right? That is going to be what? 1 plus x by 1 factorial plus x square by 2 factorial plus x cube by 3 factorial and so on. It is keep on going, right? So that is we are expanding e power x such that we saw 1 plus x whole power minus 1. We saw the expansion, right, of 1 plus x whole inverse. Similarly, we saw 1 minus x whole inverse. Similarly, we saw 1 plus x whole power minus 2, 1 minus x whole power minus 2, e power minus x, right? Sin x, cos x, right? Each and every person will have certain series expansion, right? So that terms actually being derived from Taylor series, right? Yeah, fine. Now அப்போ Taylor series எடுத்துக்கிட்டு நீங்க டிஃபைன் பண்றீங்க அப்படின்னா Taylor seriesல இருந்து next, right? one second. இப்போ Taylor series வச்சு நான் வந்து ஒரு ஃபங்க்ஷன் வந்து நம்ம டிஃபரன்ஷியேட் பண்ணியிருக்கோம். லைக் ஜஸ்ட் we are defining a certain system, right? அப்போ அப்படி டிஃபைன் பண்ணுற சிஸ்டமில் வந்து நெக்ஸ்ட் we should talk about, right? நீங்கள் என்ன பண்ணணும் அப்படின்னா Taylor series எடுத்துக்கிட்டு we have to expand that series. அப்போ series வந்து நீங்கள் expand பண்ணும்போது you can find there are two type of zones, right? That is in one zone there is no terms in the denominatorல வந்து termsே இல்லை அப்படின்னா you will have only positive series coefficient. In one zone you will also going to consider, you are also supposed to consider negative series அப்படின்னா poles will be present, right? So that is called principal, right? I know many of you are not getting clear idea, right? Let me define properly. Yeah, let us define. The first thing is we had been discussed about, right, isolated singularity, right? We had been discussed about isolated singularity. Now isolated singularity abdina, it is the point, right, in which your system is going to be what? It is terminated into infinity, right? So that is called isolated singularity abdina. Idukku neighborhoodla yarume irukka matanga. For an example, I am defining a certain function f of z equal to z square plus 1 into z cube plus z something, okay? Denominator I am considering z minus 2 and z plus 1. Like we saw there are two poles. If I place the poles in its corresponding location, z minus 2 in the sense z equal to plus 2, it will be placed here. Z plus 1 in the sense, right, see there only real value, z plus 1 in the sense z equal to minus 1, it will be placed here. See there with this pole in this neighborhood, right, neighborhood of this pole, is there any other people? No, right? In the neighborhood of a pole, if there is no one, right, if there is no one lying in the neighborhood, right, of a selected pole, then that pole is called isolated singularity. Then that person is called isolated singularity. Similarly, at the selected this point, right, in the point neighbor la yarna irukangala? No one lies in the neighbor of this point, right? So that is going to be called, that is called what? Isolated singularity. That is the meaning of isolation. Similarly, when we are looking for removable singularity, நீங்க எடுத்துக்கிட்ட சீரியஸ்ல, right? So in the Lorentz series, let's see, let me rub these things. Yeah, so let us go ahead. Actually we are going to consider two type of series, right? One is Taylor series and another one is Lorentz series, right? First let me define Taylor series. While going up with the Taylor series, right, let me select a point at a point z equal to a, right? At a selected point z equal to a function f of z can be simply defined as, right, f of a, that is the expansion of Taylor series. The important thing is at the selected point your function is said to be analytic, right? An analytic function can be defined like this, right? An analytic function can be expanded like this at this selected point, right? So f of z equal to f of a plus f dash of a upon 1 factorial into z minus a, right, plus f double dash of a upon 2 factorial into z minus a whole square plus f triple dash of a upon 3 factorial into z minus a whole cube plus etc. Right? That series had been expanded further, right? Fine. Now this is Taylor series expansion for your when your function is said to be differentiable, it means that function is analytic. I said, right, I told you, right? What do you mean by analytic? A selected function is differentiable, not only its selected point, including its neighborhood points also, right? Such type of function can be expanded like this with the help of Taylor series. Similarly, when we are looking for Lorentz series, right, if I am looking for Lorentz series, let us see. In case of Lorentz series, right, the difference is when we are looking for Taylor series, right, in Taylor series we should select only a particular zone or region on the select pandringa, right. Okay, let me take a circle for a better understanding, right. So let us select a particular region because we are going up with a circle only na, or a particular region. Let me define its radius as r, right, whereas its center point is a, that is the selected point, center point, right. It might be origin, or it might be 1 comma 1, or it might be 2 comma 2, or it might be 3 comma 3, like that, right. Whereas this is the closed region, right. So this is called the region of convergence. In the selected function, right, sorry, in the selected region your function is said to be analytic. It means there are no poles lies inside the contour, inside the region of convergence. Clear? Yes, that's all. So that is appo inga nama enna define pandrom appadina, here your region of convergence, right, z minus a in the sense, sorry, z equal to a in the sense mod of z minus a should be, right, what we have to do, your selected point must be lies, right, it is less than your radius r. R denotes the radius of the circle, right. So what do I mean here? I am selecting a circle point that is called the center of the center of your region of convergence, right. From that we are going to define the radius of the circle, right. Now the region of convergence is going to be ROC. ROC of the function is what? It should be restricted only with this region. See, you cannot consider beyond this point, you cannot consider. This is going to be the region of convergence. That region of convergence range is what? You can go up to what? Less than R. Clear? Fine. Now let us see. Guys, listen. In the circle only you make பண்ணும்போது என்ன ஆகும் அப்படினா கரெக்ட்டா exactly on the circle you may have certain poles, because நீங்க poles வச்சு தான் circle வந்து டெவலப் பண்றீங்க. So you cannot consider that point. On the circle மேல வர பாயிண்ட் நம்ம கன்சிடர் பண்ண முடியாது. We should go with the less than r only, because if I'll consider equal to r, then exactly at r you may have a poles, right. That poles are not strictly allowed inside the region of convergence, right. So this is the region of convergence when we have, that is when we are going up with the Taylor series. Now in Lorentz series we are going to consider two regions. Region number 1, region number that is called a connected region, that is it is the mapping, right. Lorentz series mapping the left hand side signal as well as right sided signal, right. So there are two type of, we have seen already in signal system there are two type of signal. One is called causal, another one is called anti-causal signal. How we are defining them? Causal signal in the sense right sided signal, anti-causal signal in the sense left sided signal, right. So the expansion, for an example, from the origin, if I'll select its radius is r1, outer radius is r2, such that region of the convergence it's going to be lies in between r1 and r2. So it can be defined as mod of z minus a, your selected point, right. From this selected point region of convergence will going to be lies in between r1 and r2, because this is the region of convergence, right. Now if you notice these things carefully, some of you might get the friction with the z transformation. Now z transformation enna pannirpom appadina, we are looking for two type of signals, right. In the mari region of convergence vandirukku appadina, actually what it means, it means there are two signals. One signal is traveling towards left side, another one is inner signal traveling towards right side, such that in between these two signals are having the overlapping portion, that is going to be the region of convergence. Do you all agree with me? Yes, clear. That is how we are defining ROC, right. Here outside signal is left sided signal, inside signal is what? Inner circle is, that is inner signal is right sided signal, such that right sided signal ROC will go outside, left sided signal ROC will come outside, right, sorry, will come inside. Left side na வெளியில இருக்க சர்க்கிளோட ROC உள்ள போணும், உள்ள இருக்க சர்க்கிளோட ROC வெளியில வரணும், such that common zone, right, ரெண்டு சிக்னலுக்கும் காமனா எந்த zone இருக்கோ that is going to be the region of convergence for this signal. Clear? So அப்ப Lorentz series வந்து என்ன டிஃபைன் பண்ணிருக்குனா, it is defining two people, right. Z transformation நம்ம என்ன டிஃபைன் பண்ணமோ same thing, right. In Z transformation also right sided signalக்கு we are setting the limit from n equal to 0 to infinity. Just go through your notes. A power n into z minus, right. So just we are selecting a certain point, right. You select a point and you can define your region of convergence, right. You can select any point. Let me generalize. Z minus z naught, right, whole power n, that is positive series plus negative series. Let us travel from n equal to, that is 0 to infinity, right. And once again here it is going to be a power n into, we can define z minus z naught into whole power. Guys listen, here I am going to consider m. What do you mean by minus m? One more thing I forget. See, this is n equal to 1. Just to consider, revise your notes. In Z transformation, when I was considering the left sided signal, I was going from minus 1 to minus infinity, and then I was interchanging the limits. That is plus 1 to infinity. Clear? Anyway, so this is denotes right sided signal, right, and this will denotes the left sided signal. This will denotes the left sided signal. And one more thing, if you observe these two people carefully, actually it is known as what, it is almost look like our Taylor series only. Here this a is what, instead of, sorry, okay, a நம்ம தனியா define பண்ணிக்கலாம். Here a power n can be simply written as m f nth power of a upon n factorial. That's all. Now if I will replace a power n க்கு பதிலா நீங்க இந்த வேல்யூ இங்க சப்ஸ்டிட் பண்ணீங்கன்னா you will get this series. அதுக்கு பதிலா நீங்க n க்கு அப்புறம் n க்கு வந்து 1 2 3 4 5 6 அப்படியே போட்டே போனீங்கன்னா this series is being expanded here. Clear? That is the value of a power n, and that is how we are expanding Lorentz series, clear, from Taylor series. I hope things are clear to you all. Now let's continue our journey with this. Now here guys listen, இங்க n க்கு பதிலா நீங்க 1 2 3 4 5 6 போட்டே வந்தீங்க அப்படினா actually they are called what, this in this region your function is always said to be analytic. Why analytic? In the sense, in the selected region, right, poles are strictly not allowable. Poles are strictly not allowable. ஆனா இப்போ இந்த ரீஜன்ல பாத்தீங்க அப்படினா z minus z naught whole power minus m, இத நீங்க எப்படி எழுதலாம்? z minus z naught whole power minus m can be rewritten as 1 upon z minus z naught whole power m. Any mistake in my conclusion? See there, minus m na denominator எழுதிக்கலாம்ல. அப்பனா இது யாருங்க? This is nothing but singularity or pole. See, singularities are not allowable. Singularity வந்து region-குள்ள வந்துருச்சு அப்படினா then your system is going to be what, undefined, right? Your system is not analytic at the selected region, right? So this is called principle. That is called principle. That is called principle. அவ்வளவுதான், right? So principle in the sense, now where you have to keep your attention. See, ஒரு person வந்து ரொம்ப நார்மல் பிஹேவியர்ல இருக்காரு, அவர்ல எந்த பிரச்சனை இல்லை அப்படின்னா அந்த பர்சனை பத்தி நம்ம யூஸ்வலா எப்பயுமே கேர் பண்ண மாட்டோம். திடீர்னு வந்து ஒரு பர்சனுக்கு வந்து உடம்பு சரியில்லாத ஆகுது அப்படின்னா அந்த டைம்ல நம்ம என்ன பண்ணுவோம், we should take care of him because now he is feeling, right, he is illness, right, we should help, we should provide our support, right, for him, right, like that. So the thing is principle அப்படினா ஒரு சிஸ்டம் நல்லா இருக்க ஒரு சிஸ்டம்ல சம்பந்தமே இல்லாத ஒரு நெகட்டிவ் சீரிஸ் வந்து எக்ஸிஸ்ட் ஆச்சு அப்படின்னா it means lot of singularities are will going to occupy, right, occupy the system. If singularities will present inside the region, automatically that singularities will going to create severe effect inside the system such that your system may not become what, analytic. It may not it will become analytic, right? It won't be analytic. It won't be analytic. Why? Because there are a lot of what I can say singularities will going to occupy the selected system. See there, whenever you will have the negative power series, it denotes singularities. So if I cannot consider the singularities inside the system, so singularities are simply called principle, right? We should keep, guys, see there, I made a mistake, this is PLE, right? So the thing is principles are not acceptable here, right? So we should keep attention with them, right? And we have to remove them, right? We have to remove them from the system, right? Okay, so the conclusion, let us coming back, since we are talking about isolated singularity and then I was talking about removable singularity. அப்ப removable singularity அப்படினா in the total power series இருக்குதுல, it has to become 0. Do you getting the meaning of that one? Removable singularity, in the sense singularity power series will be removed, right? It means, let's write this statement for that, right? So let us rub these things. Yeah, let me rub all these things. One thing you all have to understand, I am defining whichever the series that we are expressing, அது எல்லாமே வந்து நீங்க எக்ஸ்பிரஸ் பண்ற சீரியஸ் எல்லாமே ஒரு டிஃபரன்ஷியபிள் ஆகிற ஒரு ஃபங்க்ஷன், ஒரு அனாலிட்டிக் ஃபங்க்ஷனுக்கு தான் நம்ம வந்து சீரியஸ் வந்து யூஸ் பண்ணுவோம், ரைட்? ஸோ தட் ஃபங்க்ஷன் இஸ் ஆல்வேஸ் அனாலிட்டிக், ரைட்? இட் இஸ் ஆல்வேஸ் அனாலிட்டிக்னா மீனிங் என்ன, யுவர் சீரியஸ் ஹேஸ் டு பி கன்வர்ஜ்டு. யூ கேனாட் டிஃபைன் ஒரு சிஸ்டம் நீங்கள் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணுறீங்க, அந்த சிஸ்டம் வந்து இன்ஃபினிட்ல முடியுது நான் சொல்லிட்டேன் அப்படின்னா நான் உங்ககிட்ட ஒரு ஃபங்க்ஷனை கொடுத்துட்டு இந்த ஃபங்க்ஷன் இன்ஃபினிட்ல முடிச்சுட்டு நீங்கள் வீட்டுக்கு வந்துருங்க நான் உங்ககிட்ட சொல்லிட்டு வந்தா வாட் ஷால் வி டூ? யூ ஆர் ஜஸ்ட் you might get shocked, sir, infinite வரைக்கும் நான் எங்க போய் டிராவல் பண்றது, that value is not known for me, you just do அப்படினா என்ன பண்ணுவீங்க? No sir, I cannot do. அப்படிதான் உங்ககிட்ட இந்த ஆன்சர் வரும், ரைட்? லைக் தட் ஒரு சீரியஸ் வந்து எக்ஸ்டெண்ட் பண்ணும்போது up to a finite value, okay, I can go. நீங்க infinite வரைக்கும் போக சொன்னீங்கன்னா where shall I go? I can consider infinite points. And the infinite points குள்ள நீங்க ஆட் பண்ற எல்லா வேல்யூ ஃபைனைட்டா வரணும், right? So if I am getting infinite values are not acceptable, right? In infinite points your calculated value should be finite, right? Fine. So the conclusion is what here? The conclusion is our target is we should remove the singularities, right? Because infinities are not acceptable, right? Now the conclusion is removable singularity. Since we are talking about removable singularity, அப்போ removable singularity அப்படின்னா this negative power series has to be இங்க நம்ம let's consider m, right? Sorry guys, just I'm showing the difference. This is n, this is m, that's all, right? So the m is equal to 1 to infinity. This left side part of the signal is going to be forced to approach 0. Clear? That's all. It means I am removing the complete singularities from the system. This is called removable singularity. அப்படின்னா மீனிங் என்ன? complete negative power series are going to be 0. Total negative power series will become equal to 0 at a selected point. At a selected point z equal to z naught is called removable singularity. Is called removable singularity. Did you understand? Yes. Sir, அப்போ ரிமூவபிள் சிங்குலர்னா நீங்கள் என்ன பண்ணுறீங்கன்னா ஒரு பாயிண்ட்டை நீங்கள் சூஸ் பண்ணுறீங்க. அப்படி நீங்கள் சூஸ் பண்ணுற பாயிண்ட்டில் அங்கே என்ன நடக்குதுன்னா அந்த சிஸ்டமில் இருக்க நெகட்டிவ் சீரிஸை டக்குன்னு காணாமல் போயிடுச்சு. அவ்வளோதான். சிம்பிளாக சொல்லலாம் இதுதான் வந்து ரிமூவ். அப்போ நீங்கள் சூஸ் பண்ண பாயிண்ட்டுக்கு பேர் ரிமூவபிள் சிங்குலாரிட்டி. நீங்கள் வந்து இன்வெஸ்டிகேட் பண்ணுறீங்க, எனக்கு இந்த நெகட்டிவ் பவர் சீரிஸ் வேணாம். What I have to do? Your trial and error procedure use பண்ணி something you are doing, substituting various values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 நீங்கள் வேல்யூ சப்ஸ்டிட் பண்ணி பார்க்குறீங்க. திடீர்னு ஏதோ ஒரு பாயிண்ட்ல டோட்டல் நெகட்டிவ் பவர் சீரிஸும் சிஸ்டமில் 0 காட்டுது. Happily you can select that point is called removable singularity such that your entire in a selected point, right? In a selected point, the total negative power series is going to be equal to 0. That selected point is called what? Removable singularity. That's all, right? Now the third point is called essential singularity. Now what do we mean by essential singularity? Let me rub this one, right? So let us rub this one. Let's talk about essential singularity. Some of you might have not seen Z transformation, I know. No problem. First watch the complete lecture here. After taking the notes, please go and rewatch the Z transformation video, right? Then you will come to know, because there also I have not taught many things, right? It was simply connected with the left and right side signal, and I wrote how to brought the region of convergence for those functions, right? Simply. Fine. Let's coming back to the last point, that is we should talk about what? Essential singularity. I said, right? Essential. Then essential singularity. Let's talk about essential singularity, right? Essential singularity, na, it means, wait a minute. Essential singularity enna appadina infinite number of, right? Infinite number of negative power series will exist at this selected point. Over. Conclusion is over. It's just opposite to the removable singularity. Essential அப்படினா you should consider. நீங்க என்ன பண்றீங்கன்னா ஒரு பாயிண்ட்டை செலக்ட் பண்றீங்க. For example, your selected point is called z equal to z naught. இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு பாயிண்ட்டை நீங்க சூஸ் பண்றீங்க. அப்போ என்ன ஆகுது அப்படின்னா summation m is equal to 1 to infinity, right? a power m into z minus z naught whole power minus m. So this function will provide, right? So that is infinite terms, right? Infinite number of negative power series will exist at this selected point is called essential singularity. Getting me? All mudinchu. So we had been talked about isolated singularity, removable singularity, essential singularity. What we have understood? First of all, we know the meaning of singularity. Singularity அப்படிங்கிறது ஒரு பாயிண்ட்டை நான் செலக்ட் பண்ணால் அந்த பாயிண்ட்ல சிஸ்டம் அன்ஸ்டேபிள் ஆகிடும். அதாவது அனலிட்டிக்காக இருக்காது, அது வந்து கன்வர்ஜ் ஆகாது, டைவர்ஜ் ஆகிடும். அதுதான் சிங்குலாரிட்டி. அப்போ சிங்குலாரிட்டியில் ஐசோலேட்டட் சிங்குலாரிட்டி அப்படின்னா ஒரு என்டையர் ஜோனில் இந்தியாவிலே வந்து ஒரே ஒரு டெரரிஸ்ட் மட்டும் தான் இருக்கிறாரு. அதுதான் வந்து வாட் ஐ கேன் சே ஐசோலேட்டட் சிங்குலாரிட்டி. அவரால் தான் இந்த இந்தியாவே வந்து அஃபெக்ட் ஆக போகுது அப்படின்னா தட் இஸ் கால்ட் ஐசோலேட்டட் சிங்குலாரிட்டி. செகண்ட் திங் வாட்? ரிமூவபிள் சிங்குலாரிட்டி. ரிமூவபிள் சிங்குலாரிட்டினா இப்போ இந்தியாவில் வந்து அங்கங்கே வந்து ஒரு டெரரிஸ்ட் கேங் வந்து இறங்கியிருக்காங்க. லைக் ஒரு 200 மெம்பர்ஸ் 300 மெம்பர்ஸ் வந்து இறங்கியிருக்காங்க. நம்ம துப்பாக்கியில் வர விஜய் மாதிரி யாராச்சும் ஒரு டீம் ரெடி பண்ணி யாருக்குமே தெரியாமல் அவங்க எல்லாரும் நீங்கள் கில் பண்ணுறீங்க. தட் இஸ் யூ ஆர் டூயிங் சம் ஆக்ஷன், ரைட்? ஒரு ஆக்ஷன் எடுத்துக்கிட்டு யூ ஆர் ரிமூவிங் ஆல் தி பீப்புள் ஃப்ரம் தி இந்தியா, ரைட்? தட் இஸ் டெரரிஸ்ட். தட் இஸ் கால்டு வாட்? ரிமூவபிள் சிங்குலாரிட்டி. ஸோ ஜஸ்ட் யூ ஆர் ரிமூவிங் ஆல் அது நெகட்டிவ் தானே, அந்த நெகட்டிவ் பர்சன் எல்லாரையும் நீங்கள் ரிமூவ் பண்ணுறீங்க. தட் இஸ் கால்டு சிம்பிளி வி கேன் கால் தெம். நீங்கள் செலக்ட் பண்ணுற ஒரு பாயிண்ட், ரைட்? நீங்கள் செலக்ட் பண்ணுற ஒரு பர்சனால் என்ன ஆகுதுன்னா, லைக் நீங்கள் விஜய் கூட எடுத்துக்கலாம், ஒரு துப்பாக்கி மூவி மாதிரி, ரைட்? ஸோ அப்போ அந்த பர்சனால் என்ன ஆகுதுன்னா தட் என்டையர் நெகட்டிவ் terms is going to be removed from the system. That is called what? Removable singularity. And the point, right? So overall என்ன ஆகுதுன்னா entire system வந்து remove ஆகுதுல, entire negative system is being removed. So that point is called what? Removable singularity. Now whereas essential singularity அப்படின்னா opposite to that action, right? நம்ம சும்மா இல்லாமல் ஏதாச்சும் ஒன்று பண்ணிட்டு இந்தியாவை யாருமே எதுவுமே பண்ண முடியாது, நாங்கள் வந்து ரொம்ப பல்கான ஒரு ஆள், எங்ககிட்ட நீங்கள் இது பண்ணணும், அந்த மாதிரி பண்ணிட்டா என்ன ஆகும்? டெரரிஸ்ட் கிட்ட நீங்கள் இந்த மாதிரி சவால் விட்டீங்கன்னா ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்கலி they will start to attack us, right? ஸோ இப்போ அந்த டைமில் என்ன ஆகும்? That is called what? Essential singularity. அப்போ என்ன ஆகுனா infinite number of terrorists will started entering into India, right? So we be uncountable people, right? So அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கும்போது that is called ஒரு person, right? ஒரு person ஒரு பாயிண்ட் தெரியாம நீங்க விட்ட ஒரு வார்த்தையால ஒரு பர்சனால என்ன ஆயிடுச்சு அப்படின்னா என்டையர் சிஸ்டம்லி நெகட்டிவ் பவர் சீரிஸ் எக்ஸிஸ்ட் ஆச்சுன்னா that is called essential singularity. நீங்க செலக்ட் பண்ண பாயிண்ட்டுக்கு பேர் essential singularity. That's all. There are no more things to understand. Okay, fine. It's over. Next we should see some expansion, right? Expansion அப்படினா இப்போ நம்ம பார்த்தோம் இல்லையா Taylor series expansion and there are Maclaurin series will be there. We will see all those things in differential calculus, right? That is a calculus we have not seen yet, right? I know. Anyway, your basics are completely over. Now some of the expansion, like what is the expansion of e power minus x, what is the expansion of e power plus x, right? Expansion of sin x, expansion of cos x, right? We should know that things. Let's proceed further. So let me define those things now. Is it going good? I think class is going good. Any 1 second. Okay, fine. Now just tell me what is the okay, we saw the expansion, right? The expansion formula is if your function is analytic, right, at a selected point, then its correspondent Taylor series can be written as f of a plus f dash of a upon 1 factorial, right, into z minus your selected point is a, z minus a plus I said f double dash of a upon 2 factorial into z minus a whole square and so on. It's series, it's being continued, right? Now from this expansion there are many conclusions. I'm just giving the conclusions directly. Already we saw some people, for example, if I will consider 1 plus x whole power minus 1, what is the Taylor series expansion of 1 plus x whole power minus 1? It can be written as 1 minus x plus x square minus x power 3 plus x power 4 minus x power 5 plus etc. and so on. Right? Yes. Now here the function we should travel. I said all these functions are always being differentiable. Don't forget, that's very important. It means here if I will consider the magnitude of the x, that value is always going to be strictly less than 1, right? Because your series has to be converged. You cannot consider infinite values. What do I mean? X oda value வந்து நீங்க less than 1 consider பண்ணல அப்படினா it means you can consider any value like 2 3 4 5 6 infinity. Is it possible? System should be what? அதே மாதிரி இன்னொரு ப்ராப்ளம் என்னன்னா if you are going up with greater than 1 like 2 3 அந்த மாதிரி ஃபிக்ஸடான ஒரு பாயிண்ட்டை செலக்ட் பண்ணி நீங்க டிராவல் பண்ணாலும் அதுக்கு நீங்க ஸ்கொயர் ரேஸ் பண்ணிட்டே போகும்போது that will be 10 to infinity, like 2 power 1 2 power 2 2 power 3 2 power 4 2 power 5 2 power 6 2 power 7 2 power 8 2 power 9. I'm keep on traveling up to infinite values வரைக்கும் போகும்போது என்ன ஆகும்னா values keep on raising and it will approach infinity. Series has to be converged, right? Yeah, that's very important. So we are keeping some conditions here in order to let the series to be converged. 1 minus x whole inverse, what is the conversion, right? It's expansion 1 plus x plus x square plus x power 3 plus x power 4 plus x power 5 plus etc. Once again its function, it is going to be what? Less than 1 only. Limitation, it's required for us, very important. Similarly, if I'll have 1 plus x whole power minus 2, then what is the formula? 1 minus 2x plus 3x square minus 4x power 3 plus 5x power 4, right, and so on. Clear? And so on. Similarly, when I have 1 minus x whole power minus 2, it can be written as 1 plus 2x plus 3x square plus 4x power 3 plus 5x power 4 and so on. It's keep on continuous, right? Anyway, the restricted condition is that is the restricted condition is mod of x should be less than 1 in all these cases. Let's take some other people, right? Next let us consider e power x. If I'll consider e power x, then its expansion become 1 plus, right, x upon 1 factorial plus x square upon 2 factorial plus x power 3 upon 3 factorial and so on plus etc. Whereas your mod x should be less than infinity. You can consider any value because you are going to divide this value by factorial, so it will become finite only, but you cannot consider x க்கு வந்து infinity மட்டும் நீங்க போடக்கூடாது, because infinity அப்படிங்கிறது undefinite value. அதை தவிர நீங்க என்ன வேலைனாலும் நீங்க கன்சிடர் பண்ணிக்கலாம். கன்சிடர் பண்ணிட்டு you are going to divide it by factorial na, so that value will be automatically compressed, right? So you don't need to be panicked. This is e power x expansion. Let's consider e power minus x. Yeah, sorry. Okay, let us take some other things. Last time e power x, right? Yes, e power x. Let's see e power minus x. E power minus x can it is going to be 1 minus x upon 1 factorial, yes, plus x square upon 2 factorial minus x power 3 upon 3 factorial plus x power 4 upon 4 factorial, yes, minus x power 5 upon 5 factorial plus and so on. Clear? Here also you can consider any value for x except infinity. Infinity is not acceptable, such that this series is going to be converged, right? So similarly we can also consider sin x. If I will consider sin x, its expansion is going to be x minus x cube by 3, right, plus x power 5 by 5, right? Guys, here we should keep factorial, right, plus x power 6 by 6. See there, odd number only consider. First it should, yeah, this is going to be minus and x power 7 and this is going to be 7 factorial, right, plus x power 9 upon 9 factorial, right, and minus x power 11 upon 11 factorial and so on. We can give proof for this, right? It's not a big deal. E power z க்கு பதிலா நம்ம என்ன எழுதலாம்? E power I into z வந்து நம்ம cos theta plus I into sin theta எழுதிக்கலாம் இல்லையா? We know the e power x expansion. E power x வந்து we can brought this result, right? Let me prove it for a better understanding. So this is sin theta. Similarly, this is going to be cos theta. Cos x can be written as, right? Let us consider 1 minus x square by 2 factorial, right? Let us consider, next we are going to consider x power 4 by 4 factorial. Let us consider minus x power 6 by 6 factorial plus x power 8 upon 8 factorial and so on. Clear? Yes, right? So that is the expansion of sin x and cos x. Here also you can consider the value of mod of x as less than infinity, right? So you can consider this value as less than infinity. Clear? I hope these things are very clear to you all, right? So that's enough. Now the thing is, some of you might be wondering, see, if you want to bring these two terms, you can bring it you can bring this term from e power x itself, because we all know, listen, இப்போ நீங்க x க்கு பதிலா we know e power plus x கூட நீங்க எடுத்துக்கங்க. E power plus x எடுத்துக்கிட்டா we know the expansion 1 plus x upon 1 factorial plus x square upon 2 factorial plus x cube upon 3 factorial and so on. Correct? இப்போ நீங்க இதல என்ன பண்றீங்கன்னா just replace x by I into z or I into x. I into x போட்டீங்க அப்படினா it will become what? It will become I into x. It will become what? I into x whole square. அப்ப I square ஓட வேல்யூ என்ன வரும்? I square value is minus. Then it will become what? I cube னு வரும், right? I cube னா எப்படி எழுதுவீங்க? I cube should be equal to I square dot I. Correct? I square value equal to minus 1, such that it is going to be, it is equal to minus I, right? So it is become once again minus I. Again in the fourth term la enna varum appadina, actually what we are writing here, x power 4 by 4 factorial nu eludhuvom. Correct? X க்கு பதிலா we are going to replace I into x whole power 4. அப்ப என்ன வரும்? I power 4, that is going to be I square dot I square. I square value is minus 1. Minus 1 into minus 1 will become plus 1. Such that it is become what? இப்போ நீங்க இத அப்படியே என்ன பண்றீங்கன்னா further கண்டினியூ பண்றீங்க. கண்டினியூ பண்ணிட்டு ரியல் டேர்ம் இமேஜினரி டேர்ம் தனித்தனியா பிரேக் பண்ணுங்க. See, in terms of I ல வருதுல, அது எல்லாத்தையும் ஒண்ணா கலெக்ட் பண்ணீங்கன்னா you are getting sin. In terms of imaginary இல்லாம வருது இல்லையா, ரியல் டேர்ம்ஸ் ஃபுல்லா கலெக்ட் பண்ணீங்கன்னா it will give you cos. Imaginary term ஃபுல்லா கலெக்ட் பண்ணீங்கன்னா it will give sin. Why? The thing is, this e power ix can also be written as cos x plus I into sin x. அவ்வளவுதான். இப்போ இதில் இருக்க ரியல் டேர்மையும் ரைட் இதில் இருக்க எல்லா ரியல் டேர்மையும் தனியாக எடுத்து அதை நீங்கள் காஸ் எக்ஸ் கூட கம்பேர் பண்ணுங்கள். இதில் இருக்க இமேஜினரி டேர்ம் எல்லாம் எடுத்து சைன் எக்ஸ் கூட கம்பேர் பண்ணிங்கன்னா யூ ஆர் கெட்டிங் தீஸ் டூ எக்ஸ்பான்ஷன். I hope you are getting what you are trying to conclude, right? What we are trying to conclude, that's all. So this is how we are getting this various series expansions, right? Okay, complex theorem is completed. That's all. There are no more things to learn from complex theorem, right? Let's solve the problems, right, that you are tested in your exam, right? See how easy your questions are. Let me break it. Yeah, let's see. Now let us take 1 second these questions that I have took from various source, right? Write down question number 1. The value of, right, please note down the question. The value of, question is the value of closed integral, right? So the value of closed integral dz upon 1 plus z square, right? Closed integral dz upon 1 plus z square. I think it is C they defined, where C is the contour. Okay, C is the contour, we all know, right? They are defined dz by 1 plus z square. C is the contour with they said mod z minus I by 2, right? Mod of z minus I by 2 equal to 1, right, is dash. Option A, the given answers are option A 2 pi I, option A is 2 pi I, option B is pi, option C is tan inverse of z, option C is tan inverse of z, option D they said phi I into tan inverse of z, phi I into tan inverse of z. Okay, they said they are given 4 options. First of all, integration, they are talking about cos integral. Do you all agree with me? They are talking about cos integral with the region is given, that is region of convergence is given clearly, right? Now இப்போ நீங்க என்ன பண்றீங்கன்னா கொடுத்திருக்க ஃபங்க்ஷன்ல 1 by 1 plus, yeah, that is correct, z cube by z square, yeah, that's all given, right? Okay, let's consider in this given function, do we have pole or not? Yes, denominatorல some poles இருக்கு, பட் அந்த போல் வந்து நீங்க செலக்ட் பண்ணிருக்க ரீஜன் ஆஃப் கன்வர்ஜென்ஸ்க்கு உள்ள வருதா வெளியில வருதா தெரியல. லெட்ஸ் see. First let me select the poles. இங்க போல்ஸோட வேல்யூஸ் என்ன இருக்கு அப்படினா z square plus 1. In order to know the poles, just equal to 0, right? Such that poles value become z square equal to minus 1, or I can say z equal to plus or minus I, such that we have 2 poles here. Pole number 1 is plus I and pole number 2 is minus I. Yes, we got 2 poles. Right? Now let us draw the region of convergence, ROC, for the given function. Region of convergence எப்படி வரைவீங்க? Given it is z minus I upon 2, right, mod, right, equal to 1. இப்படி தானே கொடுத்திருக்காங்க. Now I only told you just to replace z by x plus I into y minus I by 2, right, and then find out the magnitude in order to obtain the center of the point. இப்போ இதில் center என்ன வரும்? x கூட யாருமே கிடையாது, so that is magnitude is x square plus இதோட magnitude என்ன வரும்? y minus 1 by 2 whole square, because I is imaginary, right? I by 2 அப்படின்னா they are talking about y, and then equal to what? 1 square, such that here x equal to what? 0, x equal to 0, y minus 1 by 2, now y is equal to 1 by 2, radius of the circle is 1, such that center point is 0 comma 1 by 2 with and the radius of the circle equal to 1. Do you all agree with me? Yes, right? Let's draw the region of convergence for this, right? Let me draw somewhere here. We all know where is this one, guys. This is going to be x-axis, but it is plus x. This is minus x. This is minus x, and this is going to be plus I times of y, and here it is going to be minus I times of y. Exactly. Let us denote. இப்போ நீங்க region of convergence வரைஞ்சீங்கன்னா center point is 0 comma 1 by 2. X is 0, y is plus 1 by 2. X is 0, y is plus 1 by 2. Somewhere here 1 by 2. Whereas radius of the circle is 1. Now let's take a compass, right? இது 1 by 2. இங்க இருந்து radius எல்லா பக்கமும் 1 வரணும், கரெக்ட்டா? Right? We are going to draw the circle from here. This is the center point of the circle with the radius of 1. இந்த பக்கம் நீங்க 1 consider பண்ணீங்கன்னா already we have 0.5. இது கூட 1 add பண்ணீங்கன்னா you are going to stand at 1.5 times of I. We are in imaginary axis na, so we should rotate. அதே மாதிரி இத அப்படியே rotate பண்ணிட்டே வந்தீங்க அப்படினா it will go, right, it will go here. See the oppositeல கீழ போனீங்கன்னா it will be 0.5, it will take one more 0.5. So it will go up to minus I by 2 வரைக்கும் போகும், கரெக்ட்டா? Such that, right, if you draw the region of convergence, it will become like this. it will cover this entire zone, right? So it will cover this entire zone. This is the region of convergence. Here it is traveling minus I by 2 la irundhu plus 1.5 times of I varaikum cover agudhu, correct? Exactly. Now let us place the poles in its corresponding location. We have to consider two poles. One is z equal to plus I, another one is z equal to minus I. Z equal to plus I enga varum? See that this is 1 by 2 times of I, this is 1.5 times of I, such that a pole is going to be placed here and that value is plus I. Similarly, if I will consider one more pole, that is z equal to minus I. Minus I in the sense, see, this is minus I by 2 only. So you should travel away, right? This is minus I. So out of the given two poles, one pole is lies inside the region of convergence, right? Another one pole lies outside of the region of convergence. See, if there are no poles, வெளியில இருக்க pole பத்தி நமக்கு problem கிடையாது, but poles are strictly not allowed inside the region of convergence. So your target is you will have to remove this pole. What I had been told you, finally I told you, first your first step is draw the region of convergence. Second step, locate the poles inside the region of convergence. If there are no poles in the region of convergence, then your answer will be 0. If you find any pole inside the region of convergence, then what will be the answer? Its correspondent effect is, right, we are considering and the pole வந்து நீங்க remove பண்ணனும். Now take your overall function, right? Overall function நீங்க என்ன இருக்கு? 1 upon z square can be written as z plus I into z minus I. Which pole we are going to remove from this? We are going to remove one pole. Which pole? Z equal to I. அதுதான் நீங்க remove பண்ண போறீங்க. Z equal to I னா z minus I. This pole is going to be removed, right? அப்ப இந்த pole மட்டும் remove பண்ணிட்டு இந்த போலோட வேல்யூவை ரிமைனிங் இருக்க ஃபங்க்ஷனில் சப்ஸ்டிட் பண்ணிக்கோங்க. ஐ எம் ரிமூவிங் இசட் ஈக்குவல் டு ஐ அப்படிங்கிற போல ரிமூவ் பண்ணுறீங்க இல்லையா? அப்போ உங்களோட ஹோல் சிஸ்டம் எடுத்து நீங்கள் ரிமூவ் பண்ண வேண்டிய போல தூக்கிட்டு அதோட வேல்யூ எவ்வளோ? நீங்கள் ரிமூவ் பண்ணுற போலோட வேல்யூ ஐ, அதை எடுத்துகிட்டு போயிட்டு ரிமைனிங் இருக்க ஃபங்க்ஷனில் சப்ஸ்டிட் பண்ணுங்க, ரைட்? அண்ட் தென் யூ ஷுட் மல்டிப்ளை பை 2πi. தட் இஸ் தி ஆன்சர், கரெக்டா? எஸ், தட் இஸ் கோயிங் டு பி 2πi upon z is going to be replaced by I such that I plus I become 2 times of I. Right, so 2 getting cancelled, I getting cancelled, your answer is pi. Do you have any option? Yes, so the correct answer is option B. Guys, let me repeat once again. It's very easy. The thing is, this is given function. நம்ம ஏற்கனவே பார்த்துருக்கோம், ரைட்? நம்ம ஏற்கனவே இந்த டெஃபினிஷன் நான் கொடுத்துருக்கேன். We know how to draw region of convergence. Strictly, we cannot allow any poles to lies inside of the region of convergence. So we have to remove the pole from the region of convergence. Now they are given two poles. Out of these two poles, one pole lies inside of ROC, another one pole lies outside of the ROC. If pole lies outside of ROC, I don't need to be panic. You can just let them to go, right? But if you find any pole inside of the region of convergence, that system, right? அப்ப அந்த சிஸ்டம் என்ன ஆகாது? கன்வர்ஜ் ஆகாது. Region of convergence அப்படின்ற வேர்டே ஃபெயில்ட் ஆயிடும், right? So I have to remove that pole from the ROC. அப்ப அந்த pole remove பண்றதுக்கு we know the procedure. Just take your whole transfer function, remove that pole from the function. நீங்க எந்த pole remove பண்றீங்களோ அதோட வேல்யூ, ரைட்? அந்த வேல்யூ எடுத்துட்டு வந்து ரிமைனிங் இருக்க ஃபங்க்ஷன்ல சப்ஸ்டிட் பண்ணிட்டு மல்டிப்ளைட் பை 2πi. ஃபங்க்ஷன்ல இந்த இடத்துல 1/2πi இருந்தது அப்படின்னா நீங்க 2πi ஆல மல்டிபிள் பண்ண தேவையில்லை. அவங்க இங்க கன்சிடர் பண்ணல, so I am considering. Clear? That's all. So your answer is what? Your correct answer is option B, right? Let us see the second question. This is also a very good question, right? So let me solve this one. Yeah. Okay, please write the question. If x equal to root of minus 1, if x equal to root of minus 1, if x equal to root of minus 1, then x power x equal to dash. If x equal to root of minus 1, then x power x equal to dash. If x equal to root of minus 1, then x power x equal to dash. They are given 4 options, right? If question is, if x equal to square root of minus 1, then x power x is dash. See, they are testing your brain. It's like aptitude question, right? There are no big things to learn here, right? Let's listen the option first, right? Option A, they said that is e power minus pi by 2. Option B, they are that is given as e power plus pi by 2. In option C, they said x. Option D, that is 1. Can anyone guess the answer for this one? What might be the answer, right? Can you please post your answer in the group, sorry, in the comment section? Anyway, let's try and bring the answer. Guys, listen. Okay, fine, let us think. Root of minus 1 அப்படினா we can replace it by I. Do you all agree with me? Yes. அப்போ இதுக்கு ஐக்கு பதிலாக ரிப்ளேஸ் பண்ணால் ஃபஸ்ட்டு நம்ம மைண்டில் என்ன தோணும்? அப்போ நீங்கள் என்ன பண்ணுவீங்கன்னா எக்ஸுக்கு பதிலாக ஐ போடுவீங்க, ஹோல் பவர்லேயும் ஐ போடுவீங்க. எக்ஸாக்ட்லி தட் இஸ் ட்ரூ. இதில் எந்த மிஸ்டேக்கும் கிடையாது. ஆனால் இது அப்படியே ஆப்ஷன் கூட மேட்ச் பண்ணி பாருங்கள். ஏதாச்சும் ஒரு ஆப்ஷன் இதுக்கு சம்மந்தமாக அட்லீஸ்ட் ஏதோ 1% வந்திருக்கா? நோ, இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு ஆப்ஷன் எங்கே கிடையாது. அகைன் யூ ஷுட் திங்க். ஆனால் ஆப்ஷனில் இன் டர்ம்ஸ் ஆஃப் இ பவரில் இருக்கா? இமீடியட்டாக உங்கள் மைண்ட் எங்கே போகணும்? ஆல்ரெடி வி ஹவ் சீன் தி ரிலேஷன்ஸ், ரைட்? ஐக்கும் இந்த யூலர் எக்ஸ்பான்ஷன் இ பவர் ஐ பை பை 2, இ பவர் ஐ 3 பை பை 2, இ பவர் ஐ பை, இ பவர் 2 ஐ 2 பை, இந்த மாதிரிலாம் வந்தால் அது என்ன வேல்யூ வந்து டேரெக்டாக அப்ரோச் பண்ணோம் அப்படின்றதெல்லாம் நம்ம ஏற்கனவே டிஃபைன் பண்ணியிருக்கோம், ரைட்? ஸோ ஐ ஹோப் யூ ஆல் ரிமெம்பர் இ பவர் ஐ இன்ட்டு பை பை 2 கேன் பி ரிட்டன் ஆஸ் காஸ் பை பை 2 பிளஸ் ஐ இன்ட்டு சைன் பை பை 2. Whereas we all know cos pi by 2 will be equal to 0, sin pi by 2 equal to 1, so 1 into I will become I. So e power I into pi by 2 should be equal to I only. This relation we all know. Do you all agree with me? Just revise your notes. I had given these things already. ஏன்னா இங்கே எல்லாமே இங்கே இ பவரில் சம் வேல்யூ இருக்குது. ஜஸ்ட் ஐ ஹேட் அ ஃப்ரிக்ஷன். அப்போ அட்லீஸ்ட் இது கூட மேட்ச் ஆகுமா நான் யோசிச்சு பார்க்குறேன். எஸ். அப்போ நான் என்ன பண்ணேன்னா இந்த ஸ்டெப்பில் போய்ட்டு இந்த ஐக்கு பதிலாக மட்டும் இ பவர் ஐ இன்ட்டு பை பை 2 சப்ஸ்டியூட் பண்ணுறேன். நீங்கள் மேலே இருக்க ஐக்கு பதிலாக சப்ஸ்டியூட் பண்ணிங்கன்னா அந்த மாதிரி ஆப்ஷனும் கிடையாது, ரைட்? ஐ எம் ஜஸ்ட் அகைன் திங்கிங், ரைட்? மேலே பவர் இருக்கா? இது நம்ம அடுத்த ஸ்டெப்பில் எப்படி எழுதலாம்? இட் கேன் பி ஃபர்தர் ரிட்டன் as இ பவர் ஐ இன்ட்டு ஐ பிகம் ஐ ஸ்கொயர், ஐ ஸ்கொயர் இன்ட்டு பை பை 2. வி ஆல் நோ ஐ ஸ்கொயர் ஈக்குவல் டு -1, ஸோ இ பவர் minus pi by 2. Did we got the answer? Yes. So the correct answer is option A. Clear? Simply smart thing, right? Let's take the next one, right? Given one second. Yeah. Let us rub this one. Yeah. Now the next question given is given f of z equal to given f of z equal to 1 upon z plus 1 minus 2 upon z plus 3. 1 upon z plus 1 minus 2 upon z plus 3, where c is the counter clockwise path in the z plane such that, right? Simply I am writing the answer. They said mod of z plus 1 equal to 1. Mod of z plus 1 equal to 1 and the value of question is 1 upon 2 pi I into counter integral, right? So that is 2 pi I into f of z into dz is dash. அவ்வளவுதான். இதுதான் கொஸ்டின்ல கேட்டிருக்காங்க, right? Some stories there are there that is not required for us, right? Let's write option A -2, option B they said -1, option C they said +1, option D they said +2, right? Can you guess the answer? Just to do it by yourself. F of z is given. Just substitute this value here first, right? If I substitute panina enna varum, this function can be written as 2 pi I into, right, counter integral, right? So f of z can be, see, I don't want to break them, let us group them together. இத ஃபுல்லா ஒண்ணா group பண்ணீங்கன்னா cross product பண்ணுங்க z plus 3 minus 2z minus 1, sorry minus 2, right? இத cross product பண்ணீங்கன்னா it will become what? z plus 3 minus twice of z minus 2 upon, in bracket it is going to be, sorry, in denominator it is going to be z plus 1 into z plus 3, right? Now see there, z minus 2, z will be minus z and plus 3 minus 2 will be plus 1, such that this numerator is going to be minus z plus 1, right? Numerator is going to be minus z plus 1, right, into dz. Now there are two poles in the denominator, z plus 1, another one is z plus 3. First we should draw the region of convergence. Yes, டைரக்டா எழுதலாமா region of convergenceல, right? இங்க என்ன இருக்கு? ரியல் பார்ட் தான் இருக்கு. அப்படினா மீனிங் என்ன? x plus 1 whole square we can write like this, 1ங்கிறது ரியல் பார்ட் தானே, அப்போ இமேஜினரி பார்ட்டுக்கு எதுவுமே வராது, y மட்டும்தான் வரும், y square such that equal to 1 square radius of the circle, right? Such that center point x plus 1 na x equal to minus 1, y plus 0 that is minus 1 comma 0, whereas radius of the circle equal to 1. Shall we draw the region of convergence? Exactly, we can draw the ROC, right? X equal to minus 1, where is minus 1? Somewhere here. Y equal to 0, so this is minus 1 center point of the circle. From here I should take the compass, radius is 1. இந்த பக்கம் நீங்க 1 போனீங்க அப்படினா you can cross 0 because length is 1. Oppositeல 1 போனீங்க அப்படினா you can go up to minus 2 such that you can make a circle like this, right? You can wait a minute, I will make some perfect circle now. Yeah, let us consider that is going to be minus 2, right? This is going to be 0 such that this is going to be your region of convergence, right? You can draw a perfect circle. I am just trying it by myself. I don't know whether I am getting it or not. Okay, fine, that's enough, right? So and here the radius of the circle is what? It is 1 always. Fine. Now what is the given poles? Z plus 1, Z plus 3. அப்படினா meaning என்ன? Z plus 1 na Z equal to minus 1. Z equal to minus 1 na a pole will be placed exactly at this point. Do you have any other pole? Yes, Z plus 3. அப்படினா Z equal to minus 3 somewhere here. See, if your pole lies outside of ROC, then you don't need to be panic. But if you find any pole inside of ROC, your target is you have to remove that pole, right? But I told you, listen guys, in your integration itself, if you find this 1 by 2 pi I, then don't multiply your answer by 2 pi I. I said, if this 1 by 2 pi I is missing here, then your answer would be multiplied by 2 pi I. Otherwise, no need, right? Anyway, here it does not require because in the question itself, they are asking the total value with the 1 by 2 pi factor, right? So you don't need to consider the 2 pi I now. Directly take your function. இப்போ இந்த ஃபங்க்ஷன்ல எந்த போல நீங்க ரிமூவ் பண்ண போறீங்க? We are going to remove z equal to minus 1 pole. அப்ப இந்த டோட்டல் போல்ல z equal to minus 1 na z plus 1. அதை ரிமூவ் பண்ணிட்டு ரிமைனிங் யார் இருக்கா? minus z plus 1 upon z plus 3 மட்டும் தான் இருக்கா. இந்த இடத்துல z ஓட வேல்யூ எவ்வளோ? minus 1. நம்ம யாரை ரிமூவ் பண்ணோம்? z plus 1. அப்போ அதோட வேல்யூ எவ்வளோ? நீங்கள் ரிமூவ் பண்ண போரோட வேல்யூ எடுத்துட்டு வந்து ரிமைனிங் இருக்க ஃபங்க்ஷனில் சப்ஸ்டிட் பண்ணணும். சப்ஸ்டிட் பண்ணீங்கன்னா என்ன வரும்? which is equal to z-க்கு பதிலாக minus 1 சப்ஸ்டிட் பண்ணீங்கன்னா minus of minus 1 will become plus 1, plus 1 plus 1 will become 2 upon இங்கே minus 1 சப்ஸ்டிட் பண்ணீங்கன்னா 3 minus 1 will become 2. So 2 by 2 will be equal to 1. So the correct answer is option C. Do you agree with me? Yes. So the correct answer is options. There are no big things to understand. Suppose if this 1 by 2 pi I is missing here, then your answer, all these options will be multiplied by 2 pi I. அப்படி தான் கொடுத்துருப்பாங்க. பட் கொஸ்டினில் தான் இங்கே 1 by 2 pi I கொடுத்துட்டாங்க இல்லையா, அதனால் நீங்கள் மல்டிபிள் பண்ண வேணாம் அப்படின்னு நான் சொல்கிறேன். தட்ஸ் ஆல். ஃபார்முலா அவ்வளோதான். 2 pi I அந்த பக்கம் கொண்டு போனீங்கன்னா மல்டிபிள், இந்த பக்கமே வச்சுருந்தீங்கன்னா இது இங்கேயே கன்சிடர் பண்ணால் அங்கே மல்டிபிள் பண்ண தேவையில்ல. தட்ஸ் ஆல். இட்ஸ் ஓவர், ரைட்? ஸோ தட் இஸ் how we are solving this question, right? Let's consider the next one. Square root of minus 1 where I equal to minus 1, right? Let's see next one, right? Let me rub this one. Let us rub this one, right? Let us consider, let us take the next question. Yeah, please be patient, right? Fine. The next question is square root of I is what? Statement is given as square root of I, right? That is what? அதான் கேட்டிருக்காங்க. Where I is equal to root of minus 1. அது நமக்கு தான் தெரியுமே. root of minus 1க்கு I தானே போடுவீங்க. They had given 4 options, right? Option A. In option A they said that is equal to, right, cos of minus pi by 4, right, plus I into sin of minus pi by 4, comma cos of 3 pi by 4 plus I into sin of 3 pi upon 4. Like they are given 4 options, right? Like let us write the second option. Option B they said cos of minus pi by 4 plus I into sin pi by 4, I think, right? Yes, that is sin 3 by 4. Sin of 3 pi by 4, comma, and they said cos of 3 pi by 4, right? So cos of 3 pi by 4 plus I into sine of pi by 4. Yes, let's proceed further. Option C, they said cos of pi by 4 plus I into sine of 3 pi by 4, right? Third option, right, just to take this one, but they had removed this minus and they are writing cos of pi by 4 plus I into sine of 3 pi by 4, comma. I don't know what they have done here. Let me notice. Right, again they are copy. இது அப்படியே காப்பி பண்ணிட்டாங்க இங்க. இந்த சைனை மட்டும் மாத்திட்டாங்க. You all know the logic, right? I know you all know that is wrong, right? Anyway, writing the options is my responsibility and then we will demonstrate. Cos of 3 pi by 2 plus I, sorry, 3 pi by 4 plus I into sine of 3 pi by 4. Yes, comma. Cos of 3 pi by 4 plus I into sine of, no guys, this is minus 3 pi by 4, amma. Okay, option D, they said cos of minus 3 pi by 4. What is this? I don't know. Yeah, I into sine of 3 pi by 4. Okay guys, I'm just asking you some questions here, right? You no need to consider anything here. நீங்கள் எதுவுமே சொல்லாமல் ஃபஸ்ட்டு சொல்லுங்கள், எதுவுமே வேணும், ஆப்ஷன்லாம் அப்புறம் பார்த்துக்கலாம். இந்த ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட் கரெக்டா? According to Euler expansion, if I have e power I theta, it can be written as cos theta plus I into sin theta. கரெக்டு தானே? இதே மிஸ்டேக் இருக்கா? இங்கே என்ன தீட்டா இருக்கோ அந்த தீட்டா தான் இங்கேயும் வரும், அதே தீட்டா தான் இங்கேயும் வரும், கரெக்டா? இங்கே என்ன, இங்கே பை பை 4 வந்துருக்குது, இங்கே 3 பை பை 4 வந்துருக்குது. அப்படியே ஆப்ஷன் பி? நோ. ஆப்ஷன் சி, பி ரெண்டுமே தப்பு தான், ரைட்? ஆப்ஷன் ஏவா டியான்றது நமக்கு தெரியல. We should pick these two, right? இவங்க ரெண்டு பேரில் யாராச்சும் ஒருத்தர் தான் நீங்கள் இப்போ டார்கெட் பண்ணணும், ரைட்? லெட்ஸ் சி. Anyway, the question is what? The question is square root of I is what? Square root of I. We should take square root for I and we should bring the answer, okay? Option B and C தப்பு தானே, அது ரஃப் பண்ணிக்கலாம்ல, right? I don't need to demonstrate anything regarding them. Yeah. Fine. Now, what I'm going to do? Let's see. Square root of, guys listen, square root of I abdina always in the complex variable. Square root of I means it can be considered, it has been considered as plus or minus I only. Square root of I, right? So they are taking the possibilities, right? Square root of I in the sense we should consider plus or minus I because there are two options, that's why I am considering plus and minus. They are given two possibilities, right? Two possibilities in the sense either it may be plus I or it may be minus I. Directly இதை வச்சுக்கிட்டு நம்மளால எதுவும் சொல்ல முடியாது. பட் இதை நம்ம எப்படி எழுதலாம்? plus or minus I square root na 1 by 2 தானே? Yes. Think. Plus or minus I can be considered as, I can be written as e power I into pi by 2. Any mistake? No, I did not made any mistakes. Such that it will become what? It will become already one more 1 by 2 will be there, na? Yes. So it can be further written as plus or minus, right? What should be considered? What are we going to consider here? It is being considered as e power I into pi by 4. E power I into pi by 4. Now just do the expansion of this one. That is enough, right? Just to do the expansion. Anyway, square root means we are going to consider two roots, two possibilities, right? Just e power I pi by 4, it's sufficient for me. If I expand this one, then I am going to get cos pi by 4 exactly plus I into sin pi by 4. That is one root, right? Okay, positive root வரும், plus or minus I na, another one negative one more root. We should consider one more negative root, right? So for that, listen, cos pi by 4 plus sin pi by 4, that is one root possibility, that is correct, right? And second thing is what we should consider. What about the another possibility? The another possibility is check the value of cos 3 pi by 4. Just you can take cross check it by yourself, right? One on the plus I அப்படினா minus I க்கு நீங்க என்ன கன்சிடர் பண்ணணும்? sin pi by 4 ல plus வருது அப்படினா cos, that is cos of 5 by 4 will give you plus value. Similarly, cos of 3 pi by 4 will give you minus value, right? So let us see. It can be considered as I into sin 3 pi by 4, right? Now, which is the correct answer here? The thing is, see, we can consider, I think here, did they made any mistake? Guys, please, few minutes. Option A I have wrote correctly, that is cos of minus pi by 4 plus sin of, that is correct. Question no, see, I made small mistake, please. This is minus I, correct it, forgive me. This is minus I because options are not matching, na? So correct. This minus now, but this is minus. This is also going to be minus. Then now it is correct. This is going to be minus, right? Okay. And same time you can also get one more root, one more pair here, right? What I would like to consider, see, cos of pi by 4 அப்படினா 180 by 4 போட்டினா 45 degree. Cos 45 you are going to get 1 by root 2, that is plus 0.707. இதுக்கு opposite plus or minus we have to consider two pair. இங்க plus 0.7 வருது அப்படின்னா இங்க என்ன ஒரு exactly at 135 3 pi by 4 அப்படின்னா cos 135, that will give you minus 0.707. We should consider two pairs. That's what I would like to conclude. Don't think too much, right? அதே மாதிரி இங்க என்ன வரும் sin pi by 4 once again, that is going to be what, 45 degrees, same value, right? 1 by root 2 only, but here you are going to get opposite, minus 1 by root 2, right? Just we are trying to what, இப்போ இங்க எனக்கு minus 1 by root 2 வருது அப்படின்னா இங்க plus 1 by root 2 வரணும், because plus or minus we are taking square root na, so two possibilities நீங்க consider பண்ணனும் அப்படி சொல்றேன், அவ்வளவுதான், right? So anyway your answer is over. இது நீங்க எப்படி எழுதிக்கலாம், cos of minus pi by 4 equal to cos pi by 4 only, cos of minus theta equal to cos theta only, clear? So அதே மாதிரி sin of minus theta equal to minus sin theta, so minus sin theta equal to sin of minus theta only, this is correct. Cos 3 by 4 plus I, that is what I am considering here, right? So just if it is minus we should select, okay, did I make any mistake? No, this is correct. If it is minus then opposite pair is going to be plus, that's all, right? So the conclusion is what, if this is going to be the first pair then this is going to be the second pair, right? That's all. Plus or minus I, just we have to consider plus or minus I. So the correct answer is what, option A. Okay guys, don't think too much, right? Let me repeat once again. Question கேட்டிருக்கிறது square root of plus or minus I, square root of minus I அப்படின்னு கேட்டிருக்காங்க. நம்ம என்ன பண்ணுவோம், யூசுவலா எதுக்காக பிளஸ் ஆர் மைனஸ் எடுத்துக்கிறோம் அப்படின்னா, நீங்க எந்த இடத்துலயுமே காம்ப்ளெக்ஸ் ரூட்ஸ் கன்சிடர் பண்ணீங்கன்னா காம்ப்ளெக்ஸ்க்கு முன்னாடி பிளஸ் ஆர் மைனஸ், நீங்க பியூர்லி இமேஜினரி ரூட்ஸ் எடுத்தாலே பிளஸ் ஆர் மைனஸ் வரும். ஏன்னா உங்களுக்கு எப்போ வந்து இமேஜினரி ரூட் கிடைக்கும், இமேஜினரி ரூட் வந்து எப்போ கிடைக்கும் அப்படின்னா, ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் இஃப் ஐ ஹாவ் இமேஜினரி டேர்ம் வருதுன்னா நீங்க ரூட் எடுக்கணும். இப்போ z ஸ்கொயர் பிளஸ் 1 ஈக்குவல் டு 0 அப்படின்னு ஒரு டேர்ம் இருக்குன்னு வச்சுக்கோங்க. அப்போ z ஸ்கொயர் ஈக்குவல் டு மைனஸ் 1 வரும். z ஸ்கொயர், see that we are considering two roots such that it has become plus or minus I. So இந்த மாதிரி எப்பயுமே plus or minus வரும், always whenever we are considering imaginary roots. That's why I took plus or minus. So I'm just telling, if one possibility will give you positive root, then another possibility will give you negative root. That's all. Here if you are getting positive, then here you are going to get negative. If it is negative, then here it is going to be positive. There are no things to understand. Clear? Yes, that's over, right? See why I make it as plus. The thing is, listen, sin 3 pi by 4 value எவ்வளோ பாருங்க, நீங்க செக் பண்ணி பார்த்தீங்கன்னா that will become plus 0.7, that is plus 707. இதே sin pi by 4க்கு நீங்க போட்டீங்கனாலும் இங்கே எவ்வளோ வரும்னா 0.707 தான் வரணும். பட் here we are considering minus 0.707, அப்போ இங்க கண்டிப்பா என்ன வரணும், plus 0.707 தான் வரணும். That's why I just made a change here, right? Then only that pair is possible. Pair plus or minus. If one pair is plus, then another pair will be minus. If here it is minus, then here it will become plus na, in order to, அப்போ இதுக்கு மைனஸ் வந்திருக்கு ஆல்ரெடி, அப்போ இது பிளஸ்ல தான் வரணுன்றதால இங்க நான் பிளஸ் போட்டிருக்கேன். Don't think too much. Clear? That's all. Fine. Let's moving on to the next question, right? It is same as the previous model, right? One second. Yeah. Write down next question. The given it is integral of z square minus 4 upon, right? In the denominator they said z square plus 4 with respect to, that is dz, and evaluated anti-clockwise around the circle, right? Anti-clockwise they are rotating a circle with the radius mod of z minus I is equal to 2. They said mod of z minus I equal to 2, where I is equal to root of minus 1, we all know, that's okay. Anyway, the answer is, they said 4 options they had given, 4 pi. Option B, guys please do it by yourself, right? நான் இங்க ஆப்ஷன் முடிக்கிறதுக்கு முன்னாடி நீங்க ஆன்சர் பண்ணுங்க பாப்போம். 2 plus pi. Option D is going to be 2 plus 2i. Can I expect the answer from your side? Can anyone please post the answer? Okay, anyway, let me derive because I cannot waste my time here. Okay, see what is the thing is, pole is given, pole is z square plus 4 equal to 0, right? There are two possibilities. it can be written as z square equal to minus 4. So it z equal to plus or minus under root of minus 4 such that it will become plus or minus I time, that is I2. So we are considering two roots here, plus 2i minus 2i, two roots, two poles, right? Let's see region of convergence. What it was given, it can be written as x plus 0, or we can directly write real part கிடையாதுல்ல, imaginary part தானே கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. அப்போ என்ன வரும், y minus 1, ஏன்னா minus I, so y minus 1 whole square equal to 2 square, correct? So its center point 0 comma y minus 1 y is equal to 1, right? 0 comma 1, right? 2 square அப்படின்னா radius r is equal to 2. Everything is pakka, right? Now we should draw the region of convergence. If I draw the ROC for this, center point is 0 comma 1, x-axis value is 0, y-axis value is plus 1, plus 1. Let's start from here. Now from this we have to draw the radius, right? இப்போ நீங்க இங்க இருந்து என்ன பண்ணணும், 2 radius வைக்கணும், right? So you should select a length 2 both sides. இந்த பக்கம் கீழே select பண்ணீங்க அப்படின்னா -1 வரைக்கும் போகும், கரெக்ட்டா? Total radius வந்து 2 வரணும் இல்லையா? And then you can draw the circle, right? Then you can make the circle. Let me slightly extend the length because here it is, yeah, now it is pakka, right? Yeah, this is going to be a perfect circle now, I hope. Now this is going to be region of convergence, right? இப்போ நீங்கள் எவ்வளோ தூரம் ட்ராவல் பண்ணியிருக்கீங்க, this is I have gone through these functions up to minus I. இங்கே நம்ம எது வரைக்கும் டச் பண்ணியிருக்கோம், ப்ளஸ் 3i வரைக்கும் போயிருக்கோம், கரெக்டாக? எக்ஸாக்ட்லி திஸ் பாயிண்ட் இஸ் கால்ட் I, இமேஜினரி ஆக்சிஸ். அங்கேருந்து ரேடியஸ் 2 வச்சிங்க அப்படின்னா யூ ஆர் டச்சிங் 3i. I plus 2i will be 3i. அதே மாதிரி ஆப்போசிட்டில் யூ ஷுட் ட்ராவல், ரேடியஸ் 2 வரணும், அப்போ இங்கே I இருக்குன்னா 2i வரணும். இங்கேருந்து ஆரிஜின் வரைக்கும் போனீங்கன்னா 1i, ஆரிஜின்லேருந்து minus i வரைக்கும் போனீங்கன்னா 1 more i, total length will become 2i, such that you can make a complete circle. After making the circle, we should keep our attention with the poles. There are two poles, one is minus 2i, another one is plus 2i, right? Which pole lies inside the circle? Plus 2i lies inside ROC, minus 2i lies outside ROC. So I no need to be panic about this one, right? You have to remove this pole from the ROC, right? So the target is what? Z equal to plus 2i. Z equal to plus 2i, Z equal to plus 2i, Z minus 2i, correct? Yes, such that actually this Z square plus 4 can be written as Z minus 2i into Z plus 2i. Anyway, which pole we are going to remove? We are going to remove Z minus 2i only. அப்போ இந்த pole remove பண்ணிட்டு what will be your answer? Your answer is Z square plus 4 upon, we should consider Z plus 2i. We are removing this pole. யாரை remove பண்ண போறீங்க? Z equal to 2i. So Z minus 2i தூக்கிட்டு எங்கெங்கெல்லாம் z இருக்கோ அதுக்கு பதில் நீங்கள் என்ன சப்ஸ்டிட் பண்ணணும், யாரை ரிமூவ் பண்ணுறீங்களோ அவங்களோட வேல்யூ சப்ஸ்டிட் பண்ணணும். See, since 1 by 2 pi I is missing here, so your answer will be multiplied by 2 pi I. Let's see what happened. Z க்கு பதிலாக 2i சப்ஸ்டிட் பண்ணீங்கன்னா டினாமினேட்டரில் 4i வரும், நியூமரேட்டரில் z க்கு பதிலாக 2i சப்ஸ்டிட் பண்ணிட்டு ஸ்கொயர் பண்ணீங்க அப்படின்னா 2 square will become 4, I square will become minus, such that it will become minus 4, such that minus 4 plus 4 will become, it will be equal to 0, right? Do you have option? Yes. So the correct answer is what? Option B. Why? See, since we got what? Z equal to 2i. Z equal to 2i நீங்கள் numerator substitute பண்ணீங்க அப்படின்னா 2i whole square. 2 square பண்ணீங்கன்னா 4 வரும், I square பண்ணீங்கன்னா minus 1 வரும். Such that I am getting minus 4 plus 4 equal to 0. So the answer is what? 0, right? That's all. Okay. Next. Okay, same type of question is again and again being repeated, right? I don't want to touch that one. Let us see, is there any other different questions? See guys, same model is again and again being repeated over the last 7 years, right, in all exams, right? Let us see, let me go ahead with some other question banks. Yeah, here we can find some different questions, I think. Okay, this is also, I think, same models. Yeah. Wait guys, I'm just looking for the best questions. Yeah, next let us see one question you were asked in residue, right? Residue, right? Let us solve that one. The question is the residue of the function, right? The residue of the function. The residue of the function. That is the question. residue of the function அப்படின்னா f of z equal to, given it is 1 upon z plus 2 whole square, z plus 2 whole square into z minus 2 whole power 3, z minus 2 whole power 3, z minus 2 whole power 3 at z equal to 2 la residue எவ்வளவுன்னு கேட்டிருக்காங்க. At z equal to 2, what is the residue of the function, right? And the options are given as option A, they said minus 1 upon 32, option B, they said minus 1 upon 16, in option C they said 1 upon 16, in option D they said 1 upon 32. Okay, yeah, they are given 4 options. Shall you proceed? Since the question is what, residue of the function is what, how will you find? Residue of a selected point can be calculated with the help of limit z is approaching a, right, and 1 upon, I said, m minus 1 factorial into d power m minus 1 upon dz whole power m minus 1, general formula, right, into z minus a whole power m into f of z. Correct? This is the formula that we saw already, right? Let's continue our journey with the m denotes the order. இப்போ question என்ன கேட்டிருக்காங்க, z equal to 2 ல தான் residue கேட்குறாங்க. z equal to 2 அப்படின்னா that is z minus 2. Clear? See, here we have 2 poles, right? One is z plus 2, another one is z minus 2. z plus 2 அப்படின்னா z equal to minus 2. z minus 2 அப்படின்னா z equal to plus 2. Now you are requested to find out the residue only at z equal to 2 only. z equal to 2 அப்படின்னா z minus 2. So you are requested to find out the residue of this person, not this person. It's over. What about the order of this person? 3. Let's consider, right? Limit, let us consider limit z is approaching what? 2, right? So z is approaching 2, 1 upon m can be replaced by order, that is 3 minus 1, 2 factorial, that is equal to 2 only. 2 factorial means 2 cross 1, that is 2 only. D power 3 minus 1 will become 2, that is d square upon d z square into, we should cancel, right, z minus a, that is z minus 2, we are going to consider m denotes cube into f of z is going to be, f of z in the sense 1 upon z plus 2 whole square into z minus 2 whole power 3, such that these two people are getting cancelled out. Anyway, we should differentiate this person twice. Shall we proceed further? Yes, right? If you differentiate, then you will get the answer. Guys, someone post something in the Meenakshi ma'am, z square minus 4, so answer is 4 pi I. Oh, நான் ஏதாவது கொஸ்டின் தப்பா எழுதிட்டேனா? No problem. If I made any mistake, please correct. Wait, let me check it, right? Now only I'm seeing your comment, right? Let me check. Fine. இதை reduce பண்ணுங்க first. It is going to be 1 upon 2, 1 by z plus 2 whole square. அப்போ வேல்யூ என்ன வரும்? 1 by z plus 2 whole square அப்படின்னா we have to do 2 times differentiation. 1 time differentiate பண்ணீங்கன்னா guys, first of all listen, z plus 2 whole square நம்ம எப்படி எழுதிக்கலாம்? அதை நியூமரேட்டர் கொண்டு வந்தீங்கன்னா it will become z plus 2 whole power minus 2. இதை நீங்கள் 2 times differentiate பண்ணணும். First 1 time differentiate பண்ணீங்கன்னா it will become minus 2 into z plus 2 whole power minus 3. கரெக்டா? இன்னொரு டைம் differentiate பண்ணீங்கன்னா minus 2 into minus 3 into z plus 2 whole power minus 4, such that minus 2 into minus 3 will become plus 6. z plus 2 whole power minus 4 denominator pass பண்ணிக்கோங்க. So the conclusion is d square upon dz square should be equal to minus 2 into minus 3 will become plus 6 into 1 upon z plus 2 whole power 4, right? So let me write the answer here. That is going to be limit, since z is approaching 2, 1 upon 2 times of differentiation will give us 6 upon z plus 2 whole power 4. That's all. Now here z is going to be replaced by 2, right? Since z is going to be replaced by 2, replace பண்ணுங்க, such that is going to be, you can cancel it, it will become 3. So 3 upon, if I will replace z by 2, 2 plus 2 become 4, so such that will become 4 power 4, right? Yeah, it is become 4 4 4, but we are not getting the option, right? Did I made any mistake here? Yes, I made mistake because here they put square, I put cube. No problem. நம்ம ஆப்ஷனில் ஏதாச்சும் நமக்கு வர ஆன்சரை மாற்றிப்போமா? Okay, this is going to be 3 upon 256. So the correct answer is 3 upon 256. Guys, here they put 2. I put 3. Right? Question அவங்க 2 கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. So what? நமக்கு ஆன்சர் வந்திருக்குல்ல, அதை அப்படியே சூஸ் பண்ணிக்கோங்க, அவ்வளோதான். இட்ஸ் ஃபார் திஸ் கொஷின் தட் இஸ் தி ஆன்சர், ரைட்? எனிவே லாஸ்ட் கொஷின் என்ன மிஸ்டேக் பண்ணேன் நான்? லாஸ்ட் கொஷின் எங்கே இருக்கா? லாஸ்ட் கொஷின் let's see that question is missing. Okay, I don't know where is that question, please. Oh, here I found. Z square minus 4 numerator la last question ka z square minus 4 upon what we got denominator la z square plus 4 அப்படினா we got z minus 2i z plus 2i, right? z plus 2i we had been removed. z minus 2i தான ரிமூவ் பண்ணீங்க. அப்போ z க்கு பதிலா plus 2i போட்டிங்கன்னா it will become 4i. நியூமரேட்டர்லயே நீங்க போட்டிங்க அப்படினா 2i whole square it will become minus 4. Yeah, minus 8 into 2 pi I, right? 2 pi I such that I getting cancelled twice such that it become minus 4 pi. Yeah, minus 4 pi I is cancelled, right? Option la irukka minus 4 pi. Minus 4 pi where is? Yes. Guys, last question ku answer minus 4 pi not 0. Please correct. I made mistake. In the numerator I was considering z square plus 4. That is mistake. Please correct it. I put minus 4, right? Sorry. Inga plus 4 consider பண்ணிட்டேன் minus 4 க்கு பதிலா. So the answer is minus 4i, right? Thank you, ma'am. Okay, let's proceed further. Next question எடுத்துக்கலாமா, right? Next they are asking the Taylor series expansion of, right? So let me rub this one. The question is Taylor series expansion of sin x upon x minus pi. Taylor series expansion of sin x upon x minus pi at x equal to pi is. This is the selected point, right? At this selected point, what is the Taylor series expansion of this function? That is the question mark, right? Now, first we should write the expansion for sin x, right? Anyway, they are given 4 options. Let me write down the options first. In the option A, they said that is 1 plus x minus pi, wait a minute, 1 plus x minus pi whole square upon 3 factorial, and then they said plus etc. Option B, they said minus 1 minus x minus pi whole square upon 3 factorial plus etc. And option C, they said that is 1 minus x minus pi whole square upon 3 factorial and plus etc. In option D, they said minus 1 plus x minus pi whole square upon 3 factorial plus etc. Okay, they are given 4 options. Guys, listen. Actually, given it is sin x, but you are requested to consider x equal to pi. It means you should consider x minus pi. Your point is x minus pi, right? So this function can be first, let us expand. Sin x can be written as, just a few minutes ago I wrote the Taylor series expansion of sin x. What I wrote? X minus x cube upon 3 factorial, right? Plus x power 5 upon 5 factorial minus x power 7 upon 7 factorial plus and so on. Now they are not considering x. You are supposed to consider x minus pi, because x equal to pi na x minus pi, right? So you should replace x by x minus pi. If I replace x by x minus pi, then this function will become x minus pi plus minus x minus pi whole cube by 3 factorial plus x minus 5 whole power 5 upon 5 factorial. That's enough. I'm just stopping with this. Now if I divide it by x minus pi, if I will divide, because in the question they were divide your function by x minus pi, then your whole right hand side function, right side function also getting divided by x minus pi, such that, see there, one x minus pi is getting cancelled, right? So what is your final answer? If you are reducing this expression, finally I am getting 1 minus x minus pi whole square upon 3 factorial plus x minus pi whole power 4 upon 5 factorial minus etc. Right? Do you have any option like that? First we should consider 1 and then minus x minus pi whole square. Yes, that is the correct answer. Option C. Okay, next residue of the complex function at its poles or okay, that is silly question. Okay, anyway, for understanding, let me do it. Once again, they are asking residue, right? But this time multiple poles. Ella pole kume ketirukanga. Let's see how to bring the answer for them. Separate ketirukanga, right? Actually, given it is x of z equal to 1 minus 2z upon z into z minus 1 into z minus 2. That is given. The question is residue of the complex function, right? Residues of the complex function. Residues of the complex function. Residue of the complex function at its poles, right? At its poles are residue of the complex function at its poles are, right? And they said 4 options. See, I don't want to write the options at all. You please do it, right? Residue எப்படி find பண்ணுவீங்க? See there, each and every option separate கேட்டிருக்காங்க. Actually option A ல வந்து என்ன சொல்லிருக்காங்கன்னா क्वेश्चनல எப்படி கேட்டிருக்காங்கன்னு உங்களுக்கு தெரியணும் இல்லையா? 1/2 minus 1/2 and 2 they said. Like that they are given 4 options, right? No, this is 1 actually. Right? Like that they are given 4 options. It means individually they are asking first pole ko what is the residue, second pole ko what is the residue, third pole ko what is the residue. Actually what is the formula? It's very simple. See, all the poles are having the order 1. Very simple. அப்ப என்ன பண்ணுவீங்க, order 1 னா first z க்கு நீங்க residue find பண்ணும்போது just remove z. Z மட்டும் எந்த போலுக்கு கன்சிடர் பண்றீங்களோ அந்த போலை ரிமூவ் பண்ணிட்டு ரிமைனிங் பீப்புளை மட்டும் கன்சிடர் பண்ணிக்கோங்க. இட் இஸ் ஓவர். கன்சிடர் பண்ணிட்டு ரிமூவ் பண்ண போலோட வேல்யூவை உள்ள சப்ஸ்டிட் பண்ணிக்கோங்க. ரைட்? யார் ரிமூவ் பண்ணீங்க? இசட் ரிமூவ் பண்ணியாச்சு. அதோட வேல்யூ உள்ள சப்ஸ்டிட் பண்ணுங்க. ரிமூவ் பண்ண போலோட வேல்யூ எவ்வளோ? 0. சப்ஸ்டிட் பண்ணுங்க. 0 0 0. ஸோ -1 into -2 will become +2 such that it is going to be 1/2. First one. Second person is going to be 1 minus okay, either is second 1 minus 2z upon second in the pole. இதை ரிமூவ் பண்ணிக்கோங்க. ரிமைனிங் இருக்கவங்களை மட்டும் கன்சிடர் பண்ணிக்கோங்க. வாட் we are going to do? யார் ரிமூவ் பண்ணீங்க? 1. அப்போ ரிமூவ் பண்ண போட வேல்யூ உள்ள சப்ஸ்டிட் பண்ணுங்க. 1 minus 2 will become -1. இங்கே 1 சப்ஸ்டிட் பண்ணீங்க அப்படின்னா 1 minus 2 will become -1. இங்கே 1 சப்ஸ்டிட் பண்ணீங்கன்னா 1 into -1, right? So -1 such that it is going to be what? +1. Second we are getting +1. Third பார்க்கலாமா? I have to remove z minus 2 such that ரிமூவ் பண்ண போட வேல்யூ உள்ள சப்ஸ்டிட் ஆகணும். 2 into z minus 2 னா z equal to +2. So here it is going to be z க்கு பதிலா we have to substitute 2. இங்கேயும் 2 minus 1 போட்டீங்கன்னா 1 தான் வரும். Such that it is going to be 1. 2 into 2 become 4. So 1 minus 4 become -3. Denominator 2. So -3/2. Right? Such that your answers are what? 1/2, 1, -3/2. Right? 1 second. 1/2, 1, -3/2. Yes, option C ல இருக்க. This is the correct answer. Just make a note of it. Again they are asking value of the integral x power x, same values, right? Okay, let's take the next question, right? Let us rub this one. Yeah. Actually given it is, right? The real part of an analytic function f of z is given by, right? The real part, right? Please write down the question. The real part of an analytic function. The real part of an analytic function. The real part of an analytic function is given by, right? The real part of an analytic function is given by, right? The real part of an analytic function is given by e power minus y into cos x, right? Now they are asking then what is the imaginary part of the f of z? Then then the imaginary part of f of z is dash. Imaginary part of the f of z is dash. See, this is going to be real part. We know f of z அப்படிங்கிறது யார்? See, it can be written as u plus I into v. We all know, right? And when I was talking about this procedure, first நம்ம இதை பற்றி பேசிட்டு இருந்தோம், analytic functions. There I was told you there are two methods. Either you can go up with the options or you can go up with the what? Standard procedure. Anyway, let me write the options first. Option A, they said e power y into cos x. In option B, they said e power minus y into sin x. In option C, they said minus e power y into sin x. In option D, what they said? Minus e power minus y into sin x. That's all. Okay guys, listen. In order to bring the answer, first என்ன சொல்லியிருக்காங்க? Given function is analytic function. ஒரு ஃபங்க்ஷன் அனலிட்டிக்காக இருக்கணும் அப்படின்னா it has to satisfy the condition of CR equation, right? காஸ் ரீமன். என்ன கண்டிஷனு? dou u by dou x should be equal to dou v by dou y. Condition number 1. Condition number 2, dou u by dou y equal to minus dou v by dou x. There are two conditions. Yes, right? அப்போ இந்த ரெண்டு கண்டிஷனை இது என்ன பண்ணணும் அப்படின்னா it has to satisfy these two conditions, right? Let's see what happened, right? If you want to, இப்போ இந்த ரெண்டு கண்டிஷன் சாட்டிஸ்ஃபை ஆகணும் அப்படின்னா ஃபர்ஸ்ட் இது நீங்கள் ஆப்ஷன்லேயே செக் பண்ணி பார்த்துக்கலாம். எப்படி செக் பண்ணுவீங்க? சி, ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கொஸ்டினில் என்ன கொடுத்துருக்காங்க? u is given because ரியல் பார்ட் அப்படின்னா u. அப்போ ஆப்ஷனில் என்ன கண்டுபிடிக்க சொல்லியிருக்காங்க? v. இந்த 4 ஆப்ஷனில் ஏதோ ஒரு ஃபங்க்ஷன் தான் v, கரெக்டா? எஸ். ஃபர்ஸ்ட் u எடுத்துக்கிட்டு find the value of dou u by dou x. dou u by dou x na we should differentiate this function with respect to x. x பொறுத்து இதை differentiate பண்ணீங்கன்னா it will become e power minus y is constant because we are going to differentiate the function with respect to x. அப்போ cos x differentiate பண்ணீங்கன்னா you are going to get minus sin x. That is the value of dou u by dou x, right? Now similarly, dou u by dou y, you should differentiate the function with respect to y now. E power y differentiate பண்ணீங்கன்னா again it will become e power y. Inner minus y differentiate பண்ணீங்கன்னா you are getting 1 minus 1 such that minus e power minus y into cos x. Fine. Similarly, see there, dou u by dou x க்கு உங்களுக்கு என்ன வேல்யூ வந்திருக்கோ same value you have to obtain for dou v by dou y also. Let's take option A வை differentiate பண்ணீங்க அப்படின்னா e power minus y into cos x. We should differentiate dou v with respect to y. இதை y பொறுத்து differentiate பண்ணீங்கன்னா e power y into cos x தான் வரும். But what I want, I am in need of minus e power minus y into sin x. I am not getting the same answer, so option A is wrong. Option B, இதை நீங்கள் differentiate பண்ணீங்க அப்படின்னா e power minus y, right? See, I have to differentiate v with respect to y. Out of these 4 options, one person will going to be v. I don't know that one. I'm just searching for that, right? So இப்போ இதை நம்ம differentiate பண்றோம் y v with respect to y. இது with respect to y பண்ணீங்கன்னா minus e power minus y into sin x. I think one condition is satisfied, right? Yes, this is correct. I got this one. But second condition also should be satisfied. If I enter either function, again, you have to differentiate this function with respect to x now in order to satisfy the second condition. First, இதை differentiate பண்ணுங்க with respect to x. With respect to x differentiate பண்ணீங்கன்னா you are going to get e power minus y into cos x. And then we have to multiply it by minus. இது minus ஆல multiply பண்ணீங்கன்னா minus e power minus y into cos x. We got, yes, same answer, right? So dou u by dou y and minus dou u by dou x are equal, as well as this condition also satisfied. So the correct answer is option B. See, you cannot expect the same option. நீங்க remaining இருக்கிறத எதை செக் பண்ணி பார்த்தீங்கனாலும் இந்த condition satisfy ஆகாது. Only one person will always satisfy this condition. Clear? And I told you there is one more procedure. You can also follow that procedure, right? So let's go ahead with the second model, right? So the method number 2, right? The method number 2 is, instead of going up with the options, we can also go up with the standard procedure. The procedure is, since if real part of the function is given, I only told you, right? If real part of the function is given, then consider f of z equal to u plus iv. Second step, just consider f dash of z. F dash of z can be written as dou with respect to x. I said do the differentiation with respect to x such that it can be written as dou u by dou x plus I into dou v upon dou x. Now, according to Cauchy-Riemann equation, when your function is going to be an analytic function, in that case, dou v by dou x will be replaced by, right? Dou v by dou x will be replaced by minus dou u by dou y. Yes, because what we know, dou u by dou y can be considered as minus dou v by dou x. You can also consider this minus in the left hand side, such that I am putting minus here. Now our target is dou u by dou x. What is the value of dou u by dou x? That is going to be e power minus y. With respect to x, we have to do the differentiation such that I am getting minus sin x, and then minus I into differentiate the function with respect to y now, then you are getting minus e power minus y into cos x, such that already we have minus in the differentiation la innor minus munadi varum, it will become plus now into e power minus y into cos x, right? Anyway, this is f dash of z. Now after completing this step, I only told you replace x by z and replace y by 0 before proceeding further. X க்கு பதிலா z, y க்கு பதிலா 0 substitute பண்ணீங்க அப்படினா what will you get? Let me proceed here. Is it visible to you all? Let me check it myself once, please wait. Yes, I think this portion is visible, right? So let us proceed. Now here x க்கு பதிலா z substitute பண்ணீங்கன்னா f dash of z will become equal to see y க்கு பதிலா 0 substitute பண்ண போறோம். So e power 0 will become 1. So minus sin z, it will become minus sin z. Here plus I into e power, again it will become 1. So cos 0 will become, sorry, cos z. We are going to consider cos z, right? Now see there, what I got here, minus sin z plus I into cos z. That is what we got at last, right? Yes, let us proceed further. What I have done here, yeah, that is correct. That is going good, right? Now after completing this function, we should take what? This is differentiation. In order to cancel the differentiation, we should take integration with respect to z, correct? அப்போ இது integrate பண்ணினா என்ன வரும்? f dash of z integrate பண்ணினா you are going to get f of z and sin z, right? இப்போ sin z integrate பண்ணினா it will become minus cos z. Already we have one more minus na, it will become plus cos z, okay? And then plus I into cos z integrate பண்ணினா again you are going to get sin z only. Again you are going to get sin z, right? Now after completing the function, right? So நீங்க இத ஃபுல்லா கம்ப்ளீட் பண்ணதுக்கு அப்புறம் நீங்க என்ன பண்ணிக்கலாம் அப்படினா you can replace, என்ன replace பண்ணிக்கலாம் அப்படினா z க்கு பதிலா you can substitute. What you can substitute? Z can be replaced by x plus iy. Finally again, now I am just requesting all cos of z க்கு பதிலா x plus iy replace பண்ணீங்கன்னா that is cos of a plus b, that is x plus iy plus I into sin of a plus b, that is x plus iy, right? I am just requesting all, please complete this next step. அடுத்து நீங்க என்ன பண்றீங்க அப்படினா cos a plus b க்கு we know formula and we also know the expansion of sin a plus b. போட்டுட்டு reduce பண்ணீங்கன்னா you will get one real part and one imaginary part. Sorry, டைரக்ட்டா அந்த u plus iv ஓட ரிலேஷன் வந்துரும். See, this is small task, right? I am just giving you these things to do, right? Why? Because you have to learn cos a plus b ஓட formula recapture பண்ணுங்க, sin a plus b remember பண்ணிட்டு திரும்ப substitute பண்ணிட்டு அப்படியே reduce பண்ணுங்க. next stepல you will get the answer. அதுல டைரக்ட்டா என்ன வந்துரும்? real part வந்துரும், imaginary part வந்துரும். real part is available here, imaginary part is, right? If you reduce this function, next step you are going to get e power minus y into cos x. Definitely will come, right? Try it by yourself, not a big thing. I into you will get e power y into cos x. Correct வந்துரும், that's all. இதுல real part is this one available, imaginary part is, that is what we are asked in the question, that is sin x not cos x. That's all clear. So you can simply bring the answer in this model, but choosing, right? You can, I told you now, you don't need to follow this procedure, just to go up with the options, right? Within few seconds, I think we are live, right? So within few seconds we can bring the answer, right? That's not a big deal for you all. Okay, fine. I'm just checking for some new models, but I could not find. All are same models only, right? All the questions. Wait a minute. I'm looking, I'm just checking for some other few questions. Yeah, there are a few more questions. Let's try those things also, right? New models. Let me rub this one. Yeah. Okay, the question is the real part of the complex number, the real part of the complex number, right? The real part of the complex number is, complex number வந்து என்ன சொல்லிருக்காங்கன்னா z equal to x plus iy, right? The real part of the complex number is given by, right? And they are given four options. Option A, they said real part of z can be considered as z minus z conjugate. Option B, they said real part of the z can be considered as z plus z conjugate by 2. In option C, they said real part of the z can be considered as z minus z conjugate by 2, right? In option D, they said, right, option D what? Okay, wait, option D, it can be written as z plus z conjugate. Like that, they are given 4 options. Now listen, complex number is given already. What it was given? Z equal to x plus iy, correct? If you notice the options carefully, all the options were written in terms of what? Conjugate. You all know, right? What we all know. Do you remember conjugate symmetry, anti-conjugate symmetry? Already we were studied in signals and system, right? What I have wrote the answer, right? When we are looking for conjugate symmetry, our answer is what? Z plus Z conjugate by 2. What about anti-conjugate symmetry? Z minus Z conjugate by 2, correct? Just cross check, right? Anyway, let me bring, we can also bring this answer from here, right? Z is given, right? Find out idoda real part da avanga kekranga in terms of Z. Find Z conjugate first. Z conjugate na meaning enna? You have to take conjugate for this, it will become Z minus, sorry, x minus iy. Just add them. Rendu per add பண்ணுங்க. Z plus Z conjugate add பண்ணீங்கன்னா, right? In the RHS, x plus x become 2x, whereas iy minus iy will be 0, such that x become Z plus Z conjugate upon 2. இதான் எங்க real part. இதான் real part. இந்த நம்பர் இதோட real part தான் கேட்டிருந்தாங்க. Yes, that is the real part. If you want to know the imaginary, then what will you do? Imaginary வேணும் அப்படின்னா just to do the subtraction. Z minus Z conjugate. அப்போ என்ன வரும்? X minus x will be 0. Iy minus iy will become 2 times of iy, such that y will be equal to Z minus Z conjugate upon 2 times of I, right? I also will fall in place. That's all. This is imaginary part. Anyway, question is real part only. Your answer is what? Option B. That's all, right? Okay, let us select. Okay, that is a chilly question. I power I equal to what? அதுதானே சால்வ் பண்ணோம். அதுக்கு பதிலாக x power x ன்னு கேட்டிருந்தாங்களா? இதில் வேறு மாதிரி கேட்டிருக்காங்க. Yeah, this is very good question. The complex number, this is also direct question only. Anyway, let me try to solve this one. Yeah. See the complex number. Please write down the question. The question is the complex number. The complex number. The complex number is z equal to x plus iy with the complex number is z equal to x plus iy. Okay, not with which satisfy, right? Please make correction. Which satisfy. Which satisfy the equation, right? Which satisfy the equation. Which satisfy the equation mod z plus 1 equal to 1. Which satisfies the equation mod z plus 1 equal to 1 lie on option A, right? Option A, lie on a circle. Lie on a circle. Lie on a circle with the with 1 comma 0, I think 1 comma 0 as the center, right? 1 comma 0 as the center, 1 comma 0 as the center, and radius equal to 1, and radius is 1. Radius is 1, right? That is option A. In option B, a circle, right? Same sentence, a circle minus 1 comma 0 they are considering, and its radius is going to be same, right? Same radius they are considering. In option C, they said y-axis, right? It's lie on exactly y-axis la varudhu, and option D, they said exactly it is lies on x-axis அப்படினு சொல்லிருக்காங்க. That is very simple, right? Very simple. What we all know, see there, what is this? What is the radius of the circle? Radius is how much? 1. We all know. Yes, இது எப்படி எழுதுறாங்க? Z can be replaced by x plus iy, exactly, right? Such that it can be written as x plus I into y plus 1, right? Plus 1. When we are, இப்போ இதில் real part club பண்ணிங்கன்னா it will become x plus 1 plus I into y, right? It should be இதோட magnitude equal to 1, right? இதோட magnitude எவ்வளோ? இதோட magnitude is x plus 1 whole square plus y square. Magnitude in the sense we should keep under root la தான் நீங்கள் வைக்கணும், and then its magnitude equal to this one, right? Equal to 1. Now in order to cancel the square root, both sides we have to square. ரெண்டு பக்கமும் நீங்க square பண்ணீங்கன்னா it is become a circle now. See there, circle with x-axis x plus 1 in the sense x equal to minus 1, y plus 0. So minus 1 comma 0, that is going to be the center point of the circle. What about the radius? Radius are equal to 1. So what is the correct answer? A circle with radius minus 1 comma 0 and its radius is 1, right? So the correct answer is option B. Clear? Yes, I hope things are clear to you all. Yeah, let me take the next one, right? So let us rub this one. Sorry, there was some small disturbance, right? Fine. The question is e power z is a periodic. E power z is a periodic with a period of. E power z is a periodic. E power z is a periodic with a period of. E power z is a periodic with a period of. That is the question. And they are given 4 options. In option A, they said that is 2 pi. In option B, they said that is 2 pi I. Option C, they said pi. Option C, they said pi. In option D, they said I into pi. In option D, they said I into pi. Right? Anyway, that is the given function. Can anyone tell me the answer? I am just looking for the correct answer from your side, because already I had given the answer for this type of question. Right? We have seen the Euler expansion of e power I theta. Right? E power I theta should be equal to what? E power I into theta plus 2n pi. I hope you all know these things, right? Yes. Just use this relation and tell me the answer. Can I expect the answer? Can anyone please post in the comment section? Please post your answer in the comment section. I'm just looking for your answer, right? I'm looking in the comment section only. Please tell me your answer. No one? Guys, is it going good? Class naladana, I think. Wait a second. Let me check it by myself. No one, right? Please try and post it your answer. See, we know this condition, right? We know this condition. But what about this one? I have e power z, right? That is I have e power z only, right? How will you bring? Directly we can club them. I have e power theta here. E power I into theta will be there, but here we have only e power z. This e power z is periodic because z can be replaced by x plus iy. Exactly, that is correct. Right? So let me directly consider, since it is the complex variable, so this e power z can be considered as. With this, if I will multiply it by e power I into 2n pi, because of this, is there any changes in the periodic function? No, right? Because it denotes what? It can be written as e power z plus I into 2n pi. I into 2n pi. But in the case I is common, right? Because here I is common, right? This function had been multiplied by I, but here your I is missing, such that only your periodic function will going to be multiplied by I, right? So what will be the answer? Suppose if your function would have been multiplied by I, we all know already I had given the proof, right? E power z is the periodic function only, right? But now what the missing term is what? They instead of considering iy, they are considering x plus iy. That is, they are considering the whole complex variable, right? So in the whole complex variable consider பண்ணீங்க அப்படினா நீங்க periodic function க்கு வேல்யூ என்ன டிஃபைன் பண்ணனும்? You should multiply it by I, right? So the correct answer is what? You can consider 2 pi I. You cannot consider 2 pi. Suppose if the question is, if they said like that, then it means in the complex variable they are considering only imaginary part. Real part is 0. In that case, your answer is what? I including I abdina, it can be written as e power z dot e power I into 2n pi. Such that if I'll club them together, it will become I into in bracket z plus 2n pi. Now what is the meaning? Periodic signal in the sense, it is a type of signal. For an example, ஒரு sinusoidal signal க்கு நம்ம எப்படி டிசைன் பண்றோம்? It is going up to 2 pi, same signal is being repeated. That is called a periodic signal, right? So what do I mean? அப்ப e power iz அப்படிங்கிறது first cycle, e power iz plus 2n pi அப்படிங்கிறது second cycle. First cycle and the second cycle will reflect the same property, such that e power iz will always be equal to e power I of z plus 2n pi. So with the period of what? Period of a cycle is 2 pi. That's why I am considering 2 pi here. So the conclusion is what? Periodic signal. Anyway, that I is missing here. So I am considering that I with your period, right? So the correct answer is 2 pi I. Since given it is only one cycle, they are considering immediately after cycle. First cycle முடிச்ச உடனே அடுத்த வர cycle மட்டும் consider பண்ணிருக்காங்க. So its period is what? 2 pi I. And since this signal is what? Periodic. That's all. Again they are asking center. No, this is one of the very good question. Let's see. Consider the circle, right? Let us see. Let me rub this one. Let us rub this one. See, last question la period மட்டும் தான் கேட்டிருக்காங்க. ஒரு சைக்கிளோட கம்ப்ளீட் பீரியட் எவ்வளோ 2 pi. Just I am considering 2 pi, but I is missing na. எதுல missing? Z ல missing. That's why we are considering 2 pi I, right? Just நீங்க டெரைவ் பண்ணினாலே I கூட வந்துரும் ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்கா, right? அந்த டெரிவேஷன்ல நம்ம முன்னாடி வந்து ப்ரூஃப் கொடுத்துருக்கோம் இல்லையா? e power i theta வந்து e power i theta வும் e power i theta plus 2n pi ஈக்குவல் நான் ப்ரூஃப் பண்ணிருக்கேன். நீங்க அங்க போய்ட்டு அதை டெரைவ் பண்ணீங்கன்னா you will get the answer, right? Fine. The question is consider this center, right? Yes, first actually consider this circle, guys. Please, I made a mistake, right? So, consider this circle. Consider the circle mod of z minus 5 times of 5 equal to 2. Now, in the complex number plane, okay, the question is the minimum distance from the origin to the circle is what? Directly, let us come back to the question. The minimum distance from the origin is 0,0, right? From the origin, right? The minimum distance from the origin to circle is to the circle. Minimum distance, right? Minimum distance from the origin to the circle is. Actually, it is the aptitude question. They are testing your brain, right? Because it's very simple, chilly question, right? First, we should draw the circle, right? Let us take, right, z plane. In this z plane, center point is what? See, இதை நீங்க எப்படி எழுதிக்கலாம்? It can be written as x minus 5 whole square plus y minus 5, that is whole square, equal to 2 square. Is there any mistake? Z க்கு பதிலா நீங்க x plus iy போட்டுட்டோ imaginary really தனித்தனியா break பண்ணீங்கன்னா that is what we are going to get. So it is 5,5 center point. Radius is 2. Correct? Yes. Somewhere here, see, x-axis la 5, y-axis la 5, they will join somewhere here. அவங்க மீட் பண்ற பாயிண்ட்ல இருந்து just we should draw a circle. That's all. With the radius of 2, it will go like this. இது எந்த axis-ஐயும் கட் பண்ணாது. சென்டர்ல எங்கேயோ இருக்கு because distance is 5 னா உள்ள போயிடுச்சு somewhere, right? And its radius is 2. Guys, listen, its radius is 2. Now the question is, in the circle oda minimum distance from the origin, what is the minimum distance? இதுதான் கேக்குறாங்க. நீங்க ஆரிஜின்ல இருந்து இந்த சர்க்கிள் இப்படி ரொட்டேட் ஆயிட்டே இருக்கா, இதோட மினிமம் சி இப்போ ஆரிஜின்ல இருந்து நீங்க இங்க போகலாம் இல்ல இங்க போகலாம் இல்ல இங்க போகலாம், எங்க வேணாலும் போகலாம். ஆனா ரொம்ப மினிமமா டிஸ்டன்ஸ் எது இருக்கு? நீங்க இப்படி போனாலும் டிஸ்டன்ஸ் அதிகமா இருக்கும், இங்க போனாலும் டிஸ்டன்ஸ் அதிகமா இருக்கும். திஸ் இஸ் தி மினிமம் டிஸ்டன்ஸ், ரைட்? எக்ஸாக்ட்லி ஃப்ரம் தி சென்டர் பாயிண்ட். கரெக்டா? இஃப் யூ draw the circle, right, if you draw a straight line, this will become the minimum distance. Now our target is we have to find this minimum distance. How will you find? For that, let me draw a straight line. Just think, just apply. இப்போ நீங்க இந்த பக்கம் ஒரு straight line, see இந்த மிட் பாயிண்ட் என்னது? மிட் பாயிண்ட் வந்து ஜாயினிங் பாயிண்ட். ஜாயினிங் பாயிண்ட் அப்படின்னா ஆக்சுவலாக இங்கே என்ன இருக்கு? திஸ் இஸ் கோயிங் டு பி 5. இங்கே எவ்வளோ இருக்கு? திஸ் இஸ் ஆல்சோ கோயிங் டு பி 5 only. Such that, right, what I can do, guys, listen, this is very simple question, right? Now what we know, according to Pythagoras, we know this distance is 5, this distance also 5. Then what about this one? Hypotenuse distance எவ்வளோ வரும்? 5 square plus 5 square under root, such that 5 square plus 5 square எவ்வளோ வரும்? 5 square plus 5 square under root. அப்படின்னா மீனிங் என்ன? See there, இதை நம்ம எப்படி எழுதலாம்? 2 times of 5 square, that is 2 into 5 square under root. Correct? You can take 5 outside, so it will be 5 into root 2. So the total distance is 5 into root 2, total distance. But I don't want total distance, I am in need of this distance, only this distance, right? In the distance, this is the minimum distance from the origin. Circle oda minimum distance from the origin the question கேட்டிருக்காங்க. So the total distance we know, that is 5 into root 2. And we also know this distance, how much it is? That is the radius of the circle. Radius of the circle, how much it is? 2. Then what will be this? What will be this one, right? So the answer is total distance is 5 into root 2. If I'll subtract 2, in the distance subtract பண்றீங்கன்னா, this is going to be the this one, right? Distance, this distance, right? And they are given 4 options, right? In option A they said 5 into root 2 minus 2. In option B they said root of 54. In option C they said root of 34. In option D, they said 5 into root 2. So the correct answer is what? Option A, right? That's all. It's really, that is, questions are very easy always. You can easily keep your answer. Rest of models are repeated. Okay. That's all. There are no more models, I think, right? Because same questions are being repeated. Let's stop with this. What someone said 2 pi I. For what 2 pi I, ma'am? I don't know which question. Okay, listen, while solving the problem, I said always, with some unconsciousness, I may made some numerical mistake, like or 2, 3, and I miss pandra, you please correct it by yourself. You don't need to wait for anyone, okay? Because here comment section la edachi pandrathu konjam கஷ்டமா தான் இருக்கும் உங்களுக்கு. Otherwise you can post it in the group and we shall discuss. நான் correction பண்ணி விட்டுறேன். அவ்வளவுதான். Clear? That's all. Your third chapter of the mathematics, it's completely over, right? So we are planning to start the next chapter, right? Probably tomorrow we will start numerical methods or probability. Clear? Either one. Start பண்ணிக்கலாம். Then we will take next one. Numerical also very small chapter, right? Whichever the subject that we, topic that we want, we will choose. It's our shelf only, right? Okay, let's start numerical method, right? Going up with the numerical, it's better option for us. Okay, that's all. If you have any other doubts, you can ask in the comment section, right? So with this, sorry, comment la vena group la kelunga. Okay, with this, let's wind up the class. Thank you all.